All right. Morning, everyone. Morning, everyone. What a difference a day makes, eh? What a difference a day makes in this market. Yesterday into breakout, not much of a pullback, and that squeeze absolutely continued overnight. Why? Multiple catalysts. All right. Some big earnings and guidance from the likes of AMD. And what a huge run up we had on that. That was followed by Trump talking during early Globex, saying, you know, we're kind of nearing a deal. The tweet was interesting. It was a bit of gobbledygook, to be honest, but it basically referred to a cooling of the issues with Iran, and that was further sort of cemented this morning, and we priced that in very, very quickly. But technicals matter, and those of you who've been here with me a long time will know that we are always watching the daily Bollinger Bands, all right? And this is now a 2 standard deviation from the 20-day, all right? And that's normally our max move, all right? Normally, when we get up here, that is the max move, which is why you've seen overnight we failed up there and started to come back down. And you can see, I'm not just saying this as a one-off. This is constant max move up, max move down. We condense the Bollinger Bands, we go in expansion, up, down, and so forth. All right, so we've kind of completed where we want to go. That's not to say we don't have a black swan kind of event and keep going if the market wants to get ridiculous off the gap up, but we're going to have to see. So what matters now are the overnight levels, all right, the overnight value levels, how we've traded inside that. So let's go into those. All right, we're going to start off on the hourly. All right, currently printing within current week value, well over previous day value. We had a tight range actually yesterday before that expansion. All right, so fairly tight range down here in previous day's value. So there's the gap up. All right, it's a 2-leg on that gap up. We're putting back, currently holding this overnight RBS zone with overnight volume. All right, so our overnight print, our overnight value area high is effectively the 500. You can see this grey box I've put here, 500. The lows is basically 250. This point here becomes very interesting, 360. So this morning I'd be watching for the rotation between these. All right, let's move this over a bit. For the rotation between these, all right, I think some liquidity may very well be built out in here between sort of 500, 360, 350-ish. All right, look belows and fail. Maybe they find a print in this low volume node and come back in and come to the upside, look above and fail. Maybe they're not ready to go tear into the upside. I don't know. We're just going to have to see what we get. What I would say is strength will come, especially if we come down here, hold the print, come to the top side, hold the pullback into sort of 500, and then they can look for that move here. Otherwise, this can be definitely a backfill, which is sold into. So we've got to be very, very careful there. You do not want to be buying this move up into this, all right? You're either looking for sort of traps and dips to hold down here in one of these zones, or you're waiting for strength and acceptance over 5s for that move back to highs, all right? Do not buy the drive as we get into 5s. You will get yourself caught, or highly likely anyway, unless they really turn the squeeze on at the open. All right, so these are levels looking for dips. If we start to lose, all right, sort of 250s, all right, and we stay heavy, all right, if no dips are bought down here, then we can think about this move back into previous day's value and a back test, all right? So bullish overall, interested in these areas, interesting in selling pops at 5s if we get stuck up there, all right? So really what I'm talking about is I'm looking for one of these rotations here, maybe selling that back down. If we hold, maybe rebuying it. It's kind of where my head's at. When we look at the options market, it's priced in pretty much exactly what we're looking at in terms of volume, which is always a good thing. All right, so call wall 1 is up at 480, so we just call it 5s. All right, you can see we're getting stuck here on that rotation down into the low volume node. There is no call wall here, which is somewhat surprising. All right, but there is underneath at C2, all right, which is point of control. So if we lose 5s, there's a chance that they're saying we're coming down to 3, so there's 200 points in here up for grabs in a rotation. We might very well build out in here as we did here, and then we've got one of these, and we've also got one of these traps to come back up. All right, so those are the levels I'm watching. They're pretty clear on the chart right now. We're in positive buy dips, sell rips all the time. We're above 28,150 right now, and that would effectively be the gap fill as well, I'm pretty sure. And where's this gap fill? Yeah, it's pretty much 130 is basically the gap. So we'll see. So this overnight range here is going to become key. Are we willing, right, to hold this range into this and rotate in here, or are we going to go straight sell all the way down, all right, blow off top, backside and down? We're about to find out. We are about to find out. But the best position for the short was this failed follow through up here. We don't really want to be getting short into this right now. The next short position would be up here, and the buy dips positions would be these here, right? And we want to be very careful trading the midpoint of this. This is where you're going to get chopped up this morning. So we're going to have to wait for a little bit of an extreme this morning, I think. All right, let's have a look at the ES, because it's pretty much the same kind of story. All right, bit of a blow off there. New highs made. All right, big pin high at the moment. And if we move down, coming back in to this sort of RBS zone. All right, right here you can see this high is this low. This zone's just sort of RBS zone. That's where they're going to try and bid off. If they lose the bid there, right, if buyers cannot step in or do it, look below and fail, or sort of we can call it around the 325 to 320 level. All right, you want buyers to hold that. If they fail to hold that, this then opens up. Okay, this opens up. Your failed follow through to the top side, if we range in between here, would be 345, 350. So you've got, again, 25 points range can be built out there, and acceptance above that is where you really get going. All right, because that would be what? Be a higher low in there. All right, so those are your levels. 345, 325, 320. Those are your under overs both sides, and then weakness under 25s. All right, it's going to be the same story on SPY and the QQQ. It's going to be exactly the same. The levels are just going to be slightly different here. So, yeah, 730, your top side pin, sort of 22s to 27s here. So that's your rotation between these. Under 27s, weakness on the SPY. Over 30, strength. But I'd say we're probably pinned in there for a moment. QQQ, same story. All right, you can see this zone that we're coming into here. All right, and your pins up here, 90, I'd even argue, yeah, just above 90. So 90 to 88, down to 86. All right, here's your rotation. Underneath this, weakness, unless they do the trap, but underneath this, weakness. So those are levels, 90s, 87, or 88, 86s, and then weakness would be 82s. All right, Dixie will be melting off here. Well, probably found a bit of bid this morning, but melting off overnight, which is what we're seeing. All right, undercut here, pricing back in. There's your big wash yesterday and overnight. So we'll see if we build liquidity out to come lower now if we think about this. All right, possibly, I'd say into the midpoint here, 98.2s, be interesting over under. VIX, same kind of story. It's not actually changed that much. We had this drive down, right down into the low 16s, but we're coming back for the 17 retest already. There's your under over for the day. All right, VIX rejects this and trades lower, market finds a bid. VIX comes over 17s and wants to come to 18s, market's going to struggle to find a bid early. All right, let's get into the MAG because these all matter. All right, you can see Apple, breakout, hold, building liquidity. Right, can we get going upside? Big question mark over that right now. Gapping down, right? Apple gapping down from yesterday. So that 280 becomes key on Apple over under. Amazon also gapping down, all right? Drive up in the pre-market, really big drive being sold into. Probably a lot of profit taking of some of these AI names, right? Off the back of SNDK and AMD and such forth. All right, big gap up on Goog. All right, there's your after hours gap. Holding the print well here. So you're watching Goog to see if it holds previous day highs, basically 89s. Right, that's where the strength is so far in the Qs. If they hold 89s, good chance for continuation. We lose 89s, we're thin in here. We can come straight back down to 85. So that's your over under in Goog. I'd be watching those 89s. Meta, nice response in the after hours after this undercut. All right, that's a good response. We'd be watching to see if Meta's willing to hold these 605s right now. A sign of strength there if it holds 605s to come back up to these 610, 615s. If we lose 605s, we're going to come back down to the undercut. If we lose that, well, we're in trouble. All right, so those are the levels on Meta, but basically opening flat on Meta. Microsoft, this is the one that I'm interested in at the moment, swing wise. Right, want to see as we start to pull back into these levels if they're willing to hold this bid here and do a sort of trap and go, or if this is just going to slide and slide and slide. A lot of this, again, depends on the bigger macro environment right now. If we're into profit taking, we're going to go over why that might happen shortly. Nvidia coming back to the upside after hours and pre-market. Big gap up here on Nvidia. Again, you're asking the same question. If this is the range and we've gapped up out of the range, can we hold the top side of the range and start to get going again? All the way back up to here is where they're trying to get up to, right? Where the failure came from. There's the typical like sort of bears getting too short of the lows. Can we hold this now is the question you're asking on video. So 99, somewhere around that would be strength to hold for that move back up. Tesla, that doesn't look very good right now. All right, failed breakout of the high, coming to the bottom side of this range. Failures under here will be problematic for Tesla. At the moment, we're holding this old high pivot. All right, so I'd say under 85, weakness on Tesla, basically opening up slight gap down in Tesla, not too much yet. Oracle, all right, you're going to see all these names that have pumped start to be selling back off this morning. All right, so big fight back on Oracle. This is your over under. Again, 85 seems to be the level on a lot of these. All right. Soxel, you know, we were looking at this yesterday. Remember, yesterday the level was 45s, I think, or 42s. Was it here? 42s. Might have been my bad. 42s, maybe. 42s. I think it was 42s, yeah. Big drive off earnings. All right, huge move into the cool wall, pulling back in, and want to see if it's willing to hold maybe 50% of this range or come all the way back down. And this is what's driving the market. Remember, these are your semiconductors. I'm going to go over the big strong ones in this market shortly. AMD off the earnings. There's the strength. Okay, so we did this 20 point move to start, which we talked about yesterday. We said we'd probably wash and then find a bid, and then if guidance is good, we can keep going. Well, guidance was great. I was thinking maybe we'd get to 400. No, we got well above that. All right, pre-market this morning, 430s cool wall. We're now holding the 400s. If they're going to hold the gap, they're going to want to hold 400s. All right, that would be a nice like gap and go kind of play. If they lose the gap, well, then you're going to see major profit taking. Remember, I've taken most of my profit already. I'm a little bit gutted, but this is a big breakout. It can afford to come back in a little bit, 350s and below if it wants. So it really depends how much of the market starts to take some profit here, thinking it's frothy or not. All right, same story with a lot of these names, right? AVGO moving off AMD. Some of these we have earnings as well. These high beta names, IREN, IONQ. All right, these are all getting going as well. Rigetti as well, MVTS as well. You can see big moves on these. And SNDK, where are we on that? Does it have the blow off in it? I mean, it's hit the 1.5s. To give you an example, right, of how insane this run is right now. All right, less than a year ago, you were buying ScanDisk for under $50. It's now $1,500. Yes, that's the kind of euphoria we are in this market for AI right now. So just be aware of that. It would not surprise me to see some profit taking at some point on some of these names. The question is when, and you don't want to be front side, all right, before. It's no different to it. Like I keep saying to you, this market very much feels like a small cap right now. That's how this market started to move. Right, so we don't want to be feeling like a small cap at the moment, and if we are, we don't want to be the front side of the small cap. All right, news today as well, must remind you, we've got Fed talk 1 o'clock and 1:30. Other than that, we're clear. You better be ready for some fireworks, because you know Trump's going to be on social media today. You just know that's going to happen. Let's delete this off. We've got about 70 seconds here. Good morning, team. I hope you're all doing well. I did make some money overnight. Okay, so I locked in my Lucid account with that base hit again. So another 4 days left, and I'll take another 2,000 out of that, which is nice. We're coming right into this first big level that we talked about. So we're going to watch this level and down here to see if we find a bid. Do we find a bid here or here to come up and test the 480-500s? Do we fail that for rotation back down? Is that the lower high? or do they print and hold? Those are the questions. So I'm watching to see if the market fades into these. Do we find a bid here this morning? If the market pumps out the gate, do they sell the 480s this morning? That's what I'm going to wait for this morning. I need to wait for an extreme. This is an interesting level that we're about to opening up in. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. It's an interesting level. That's a pretty notable sell-off off the highs there. So we're just going to give this market 1 to 5 minutes, ideally, unless we see a very, very fast response, which is possible. Here we go, folks. Market opening. Let's see. Here's the drive down. Holding that top side of that grey box for now. And do they respond here to lift to 480, or are we just going to go mega uber sell? We're about to find out. So let's put some volume on here. Can we get some volume? There we go. All right, some buyers starting to show up here for the first time at 330s. And then, are there any more down? 315s, or a few more buyers a bit lower. And it can come right the way down to 275 if it wants, remember. These 350s. Buyers trying to come in, they're getting washed out right now, so we continue to move lower right now. ES right at its VWAP, or there or thereabouts. Here come the buyers they're trying to step in here. Here they come. It's a big drive up to the New York Open. So watching this now to see if dips start to hold here for this rotation back to 480 or not, or if they're just going to sell straight into this in one go. Still early days. Back to this New York Open. So I'm just giving this a chance to settle down. Oh, we're on the wrong. Let's lower that down a bit. There we go. Come on, Trading View. Wakey, wakey. Yeah, starting to get going. I'm looking to see if dips start to hold here now. Right at that New York Open. Why do we not have these indicators? Where are they? Come on, Trading View. Come on, Trading View. There we go. Thank you. All right, looking to see if dips start to hold here for the rotation up to 480 or not. All right, we've got a piece on here feathering in. We really need to take out 420s for me to feel confident about putting any size on, though. Here's the drive back up. So we're trying to play to see if we can get up to 420s. And then we can size in if we start to base above that. Here we go. Nice. So that grey box starting to hold. Here comes the 420s. And if we start to break above this, I'll start to size in for the upside. Here we go. So you can peel some off here if you want. And I'm going to look to see if we can start to raise the roof here. So I'd like dips to now hold 380s. And then a 420 break. Here we go. Beautiful. Come on. Extend it. Just extend it. Just extend it. You can come back to 480 if you want, 380 if you want. I'll add on dips there. But I'd like to just see this thing start to move. I want to be careful because ES has basically already done the move that we want on the Qs. Can we go? Flirting here with VWAP. Lots of liquidity above if it can come and fill it. Can we go? Can we go? You're trying. You're trying. Here we go. Trying to get up here, folks. 440s first, then 480s. So grey box held, really nice. We're trying to see if we can extend it. If you want to pay yourself some here into VWAP, I do not blame you in the slightest. Dips will have to hold here, 380, 385. All right, we don't want to lose that level as buyers down here. I want to be careful because if ES drives up and fails here, it would have already done the move we want. This is looking better though. It's a good hold there. we need to extend this now up to the 480s, right? So we're taking profit in any drive up here. Ideally, we come up there. Here we come. Come on, baby. Grey box was beautiful, eh? Good hold. Really nice hold. Nice response out of it. Here we go. Oh, my days. Here we go. Well, if we get up there, it'll be a 100-point banger. We're in the opening 5 minutes. Oh, he doesn't tell me what to do or what he's looking at. He never tells me. All right, here we go. 450s. Whew. Well, that's us done, right? I will see you back tomorrow morning. Same time, and maybe we'll try again. All right, peace out. I wouldn't do that to you. All right, 450s. You can peel a bit off here. 450s to 480s. Oh, but he never tells me. He never tells me what to do. He never tells me. I don't care if volume's low, bruh. It's because we've not had the buyers come in yet, bruh. But I tell you what, we have had sellers stuck at the lows, bruh. Bruh. Is this going to Budapest fund, Alex? It's funny you say that. I am in touch with some guys over tickets at the moment. I'm trying to get a pair because I don't want to go by myself. If I can get a pair, I'll be getting that flight. I'll probably go a couple of days early. I could probably go on the 28th. I said to my wife, if we win, I probably won't come home. I will probably just get shit-faced in Budapest for a week. I won't shower. I'll get a tattoo of Arsenal on my chest. I'll go fucking mental. Oh, fuck off, Thomas, you prick. Get out of it. Who do you think is going to win tonight? That is. I'll be honest. I am concerned. They look great. Both the opposition look fantastic, don't they? Very different styles, though. Very different styles. Right, make sure you're paying yourself up here. We're getting a little bit stuck for a minute. ES has basically completed the first move, so the next move for ES is that 350. Hopefully buying it. I can't wait to watch the game. Last week was so exciting, wasn't it? But neither of them can defend. They just attack. They just attack. You guys are mean in chat. Come on. Hopefully we get all the way up. But we want to be careful here. Again, I'd say dips now. You'd want to hold these 420s. All right, so we're long from down here. We'd want to hold 420s. If we can't hold 420s, we don't like it. All right, we don't like it if we can't hold 420s. It needs to be, your out needs to be around there. AMD up 20%. Yeah, I mean, I'm gutted because I sold, all right, out here. I sold most of my AMD. Out here, I'll consider a reload if it starts to base and hold. It's just early morning, so I want to be careful. But if we start to base and hold, I'll consider a reload down here. We got that drive to 50s. 80s would have been ideal. ES came up to the level we were looking to trade to. Got stuck. And we might ping pong here for the day. Like I'm watching the options levels, like 730 to 728 SPY, 690, possibly to 685 QQQ, but that could be the ping pong on the Qs. We will see. Lots of these names pulling back in a little bit. If you look at SOXL, big drive out, failed follow through this morning, got sold into at 62, so it's back into its sort of open. And if they can't find a bid here at the open, it would be a problem for the chip names. So it's worth watching that again today because that's definitely what's done the drive, right? The earnings, the chip names, they've done the drive. If we start to see failed follow through up here, it's a little bit early than we would like. If we're going to play the short, we'd like the failed follow through up here, right? But it's not what we're seeing at the moment. good hold of this little low volume node. Maybe we will extend to 80s. Maybe I've just stopped out there before. We'll see. Some volume up here at 42, so they'd need to get back through that. I'm out of it now, though. Lots of liquidity here into 40s. This little shelf here is going to become important for the over-under now, I think. They're trying to hold it. Sellers are all the way up at 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. They're adding lots of liquidity. Maybe they're going to get that second drive. Maybe I've cut this too early and we are going to go 80s. We're about to find out. They're trying. These buyers are trying to step in aggressively now and lift it up to 75 and 80s. That's definitely the level they wanted to go to, but I cut it, thinking we'd washed a bit too deep there at 20s, but we might well be coming up here now. This is the original move. So if you're still holding, you still look good. This is where they're trying to get up to. 80s is the zone that they would like. Again, I think the big problem here is the divergence with ES a little bit. Has it washed those guys out? No, not quite yet. Give you a readout on the mag. Tesla 0.15% down, Nvidia 2.02% up, Microsoft 1.05% down, Meta 0.91% down, Google 1.90% up, Amazon 0.5% up, Apple 0.5% down. I mean, no alignment. None of this is coming from the mag like we talked about yesterday. This is all coming from AI mania, not in the mag. Still liquidity up here into the 80s. Lots of players up here into the 80s. This is where they're trying to get up to. You can see it on the book above me. A base above that will show real strength and intent. It will show real strength and intent. A base above 480. Yeah. They're trying. They are trying to lift this. We're just stuck in a little bit of a sideways pattern. Maybe we need to wait for the opening range to finish, maybe. Bids trying to hold 440s, sellers 60, 65, 70, and 80s. That's the range right now. ES back to VWAP. SPY under its VWAP, so divergence with the ETFs just to make it fun again. SOXL not over its VWAP either. Tricky here while they make their mind up. Somewhat surprised they haven't lifted it up there yet. Actually, a bit of a more muted open than I was expecting. Thought we'd get a bit more fireworks in this. VIX perking, yeah, VIX at the 17s, yeah, totally. Since it came down to those low of 16s, right back to that high volume node at 17s. It's where we've been for the last week or two. So I'd say like we've got a pivot here, 17.15 to 17.22. Gap fill is 17.39. But yeah, these 17s, I agree with you. They are important levels. All right, here we go. Now, finally getting going for you guys who are able to hold on. Here's your 80s. So here's your TP. So 80s up to 500. All right, this is your TP. You need to be paying yourself 80%. And then if we base above, we will see strength. All right, if we base above and hold, then we will see strength back to the highs. If they come up here and fail, then the rotation is between these like we talked about before the open. All right, so That 80s is a big, big, big level. 80s and 500, big level. Dips being bought again. Oh, I'm gutted I sold too early now. Gutted. Soxal trying to go. It's trying to get its morning breakout. Here's the 500s. Right, make sure you're paying yourself here. Please make sure you're paying yourself here, all right? You got to be paying yourself into this grey box. If you break and hold over this, fantastic. But you absolutely must pay yourself into this grey box. There's, you cannot hold on for dear life above this. You can hold runners, but you've got to be paying yourself. This is the level up here. You can see that sellers defending that level. Doesn't mean it can't go higher, but we know we're pinned between these two grey boxes for now. This is why we have them on the chart. All right, and then we have to wait to see if there's acceptance above or below, or fail breakout or breakout will be decided soon. So here's the pullback off that grey box. So hopefully you paid yourself in towards the 500s, which for the first time have been defended. W for the day and done. Yeah, I mean, lots of you, if you got long here, you know, you're up 130 points like we talked about. I got stopped out on the runners before it went. Probably should have given it a bit more room, but there we go. That's typical of me in the mornings. And buyers will want to protect 450s now. If they can't protect 450s, then we can slide. So you can see in this shelf here, right? Buyers will want to protect the 450s to keep moving higher. If they can't protect 450s, the rotation can start to take place. Looks a little bit messy here, stacked both sides. Here's the 70s. Sellers trying to sell down to 450s. Here's the move towards the 450s now. Here you go, 65s. So very important now for buyers to attempt to hold this, I would say. ES holding up very well here. And the chip names are kind of just compact in a quite tight range here. So you can see that dips were bought here this morning as expected. Strength came above the open. We've come to the top side. That's your first move done. All right. The second move will either be failed follow through in a rotation back down, all right, or it would be a strength in a base over. These 450s become important now, like I keep talking about, right? This is where buyers will want to protect. They will want to protect this to complete this. If they lose the 450s, right, then this rotation here back down to lows becomes possible. Not probable, but possible. So you can see that last pull into 55 was protected. That little low volume node here is being protected by bulls, right, all the way down to sort of 45. So 50 is important in here for bulls to try and get this move like we talked about. You want to be careful of a failed break. If they base and hold, then we can think about re-adding for a move back up to the upside, all right, all the way up here. But this is a big, big, big level in here this morning, folks. Big, big level. I'll zoom it out a little bit so you can see why. They're failing up there again, getting stuck in that grey box. Remember, you do not want to be long up here. The longs were down here, all right? The only long up here, again, will be a breakout and a hold. Otherwise, this is a range, and we're selling the edge of that range right now. All right, back towards these 450s. What do I use for my options data? Tanuki. Welcome for your first time here. Must get asked that. And what are my volume profile settings? And how do I draw my grey boxes? More than any other questions in the world. Yeah, grey boxes changed next session and even during the session. Change based on volume. We move them based on volume. Wherever the big volume is where we're interested, right? That's where stuck participants are. If they're below us, they're probably trap shorts. If they're above us, they're probably trap bulls, right? That's how we do it. Let's pull back those, holding the RBS zone. Just make sure you zoomed out the H1. All right, we've held H1 flow zones. We've held this RBS zone. We've pulled back in. We found a bid, right? Resistance becomes support. We're finding a bid, but this might be the max top side. We're going to have to wait to see. But this made sense, right? Pull back, hold, drive out. We're selling some into here because we don't know if we've got strength to make new highs. So because we're day trading, not swing trading, we have to be cautious. And why am I wearing sunglasses, bro? Yeah, that's also another common question. You're right. Because they're not sunglasses. But for some reason, they look very dark. All right, 450s it is. Yeah, starting to fail VWAP. If we lose 450s, there is a slide here. I'll tell you, if we lose the 450s, there is a slide here, probably back down to the low 400s. ES letting go here, right back down to that New York Open, right? Are they going to trap here or not? It's a big, big wash here on the market. Selling starting. So they lost the 450s. Here come the low 400s, value area low. We just talked about this. That happened in seconds. So if the back test of 450 stays heavy now, buyers will be in trouble. Otherwise, this can be a trap which is soaked up and taken back to the upside like they've done the last few days. There you go. Same thing as the last few days. And yes, holding that New York Open. These washes that they do in a matter of seconds in this market. It's so much like a small cap. It's insane to say that on a big index, but that is what it's like right now. Oh, Iran. The US proposals contain unacceptable clauses. Great. The tit for tat starts again then, does it? The tit for tat starts again. Well, this will be tough to price in if we're going to see this. If we're going to see them say, hey, Donald, go F yourself. Waiting to see more data on this, not seeing it yet. Okay, under 450s to the low 400s, value area low, reclaim value area low, reclaim 450s, coming back up towards 500s now. This is what we've done the last few days. Horrible moves like this, where for people like me who want to wait for bases, we can't get it. We can't get it. It does it in one shot. Not even in one shot. It does it in 1 second. Right, here comes the algo then. They're trying to turn this on versus 450 at the moment to break out. Look at that candle on ES. Lots of liquidity higher at the moment. Both sides of the book, to be honest. Bids are down at 450, sellers are at 500 and above. This looks like it just wants to reach higher. That last candle might have caught enough shorts down there. Ping pong. We are playing ping pong here. We are playing ping pong here. Bid at 60 here, trying to hold the book up. Starting to look like yesterday's grind up? Not really. Not really, because we are underneath overnight pressure at the moment. And just because the candles are doing this, you got to zoom out. There's a big difference between today and yesterday, and that would be all this, right? That would be all this. Buyers up here are caught offside right now. That's the big difference. Just waiting now to see what happens. That is a huge, huge buy on that ES. They bought that New York Open on that dip. 20 points up on it already. Sorry, 10 points, 15 points up on it already. Starting to drive. So they're looking for this break now. That was the trap, just like the last few days. Interesting that we now have a good idea of why that big bid was soaking all of yesterday with so much confidence on the breakdown level. Who'd have guessed it? All right, back to the fives. And if we base over here, there's a chance to move back towards the highs, right? If we base over here, if we start to hold high lows above this grey box, there's a chance to move back towards the fives. It's a big if, which is interesting because Soxals looks more like it wants to break down at the moment. It's just stuck in a sideways pennant. Nvidia's got going though, approaching 4% up. That's really got going. Gonna have to wait for this to either base out or fail before I think about anything else now. We've had that first trade. We're just at the key level. We've got to let it do something. VIX still going. So VIX just filled its gap. We just talked about that. VIX now filled its gap. Coming up to the 10 o'clock. It's a great hold on that H1. Really nice RBS hold down here. Just hopefully we can get another entry of some sort. All right, sellers coming in here at 500. They will want to rotate down to 64, and the buyers will probably want to hold 64s. And then we can think about what's what again. Here we go. Here's the move down to 64s. Pretty close. That was a pretty close guess, wasn't it? All right, this becomes important, this node here. Can we see your anchor volume profile settings? How about you read up 3 messages above what you've just said? All right, good hold of 64s from the bid. So sellers sold the 500s, buyers are soaking up 64s. The battle here, big battle here. I'm just hands off at the moment, letting it do whatever it is it wants to do, just letting it do whatever it is it needs to do for a bit. The easier move is dips, but unfortunately, Alex had weak hands today. He had weak hands, so we bought here, and I added here above the New York, and sold here, and then got washed out. What was it? I can't remember where it was, under the 20s here. Unfortunately, I was the weak hand when we were looking for this move into this grey box. Weak hand, Alex. That's poor. There we go. So now I've got to wait to see if we have strength in base or not. We've got a new H1, H4 coming here in 3 minutes, folks, or just over 2 minutes, actually. Man, SOXL looks like it's very close to breaking down here. I'm warning you that if chips start to let go on a profit-taking day, it's going to be a problem. So while NQ is moving higher off the strength in Nvidia and AMD and stuff, SOXL is right at its opening print this morning. And if we start to let go, especially under 55s today, you might get a bit of a sale. I'm just warning you. We're not there yet, but it's struggling to get going above the 160 in VWAP today. Market looks pretty pinned in. Like just looking at the book above me, looking at Bookmap. Lots of sellers, lots of buyers. Not much continuation. Good call on the first trade. Yeah, first trade was a nice call. You guys probably did better than I did. But first trade's paid you like at least 100 points, which is great. All right, back to this VPOC again. We are building out a lot of liquidity down here. ES is looking to break out for a new high of day in the New York session. Here goes ES. If you're trading SPY, I would just watch these 730s, folks. If you're trading the spiders, big call wall up there into 730. Be aware of that. So much liquidity both sides on this book right now, passively just sat. I don't think the auction at high day looks particularly good in the queues. Right, back to VPOC again. These 64s, you can see they're becoming very, very, very important right now. If we lose those, we probably come down to 45s. It's a little low volume node between sort of 64 and 45. They're still bidding 64s for now. Book's starting to thin out a bit here. Where's this liquidity gone? Here it comes, coming back on the book now. Maybe they got worried about that 10 o'clock candle. Still no second trade for me yet. Having to wait. Either I want to see failed follow through. Ideally, a better auction at the highs if we're going to play failed follow through. To me, SPY's trying to get to that 730s at the moment. SOXL's trying to hold its New York Open bid right now. That's where it is. So to give you an idea, SOXL opened up at basically 58, drove up to a high of 62, has come all the way back down to 58. So if it starts to lose this bid, it's going to go to 55. So if it loses 55s, it's in trouble. It's in trouble if it loses 55. So queues will follow it if they start to lose bids here. I'm just warning you because it's the chip names which have gapped us up so high. If we see major profit taking there, we will see a fire sale and a wash. SOXL under its opening print now. So this might come down to the 55s here. Divergence with ES, yeah, ES breaking out. Like I said, I think SPY wants the 730s, which we're coming into now. This is the wall on SPY. This is your over-under. This is the equivalent of our 500s where SPY is right now, the 730s. We've just got to wait here. Here come the 730s. It's trading at 94s, 299.95s. It's there or thereabouts. And if you see a big reaction here, Qs might follow. SOXL coming down for those 55s. It's coming down to low of day here. So I'm waiting to see if there's weakness here to join, to be honest. If they're going to show weakness, I'm going to look to join because chips are starting to sell. So 55 is going to be a huge over-under. That's your lower day print on the chips. Rejection of 730 from the SPY. First attempt rejected, so they sold into it. Here comes the rotation. Is there going to be a way of getting involved here? It's going to be the hardest thing is to find if there's going to be a way of getting involved here. I don't want to short the lows of this range. Yeah, big rejection on that options level on that cool ball on the spiders. All right, 50s. If we lose 20s, I have to get involved. Here's the 50s. Trying to see if there's a way of getting involved here. 55s coming up on the chips like we keep talking about. I'm using those as a reference today. Here's the wash to VWAP. Is there a way of getting re-involved here? If we're going to really start to let go, I'd need pops to fail 65 to 75, and I'd need chips to let go of 155. That's a great reaction off 730 on spiders. Can I get involved? If there's a lift that fails, can I get involved up here? All right, so what I'd be interested in is if everything times out together, if we see this and this and this, would be nice. Otherwise, waiting to see if we fail up here or if we base and hold, I'll get long up there. I want to be careful at here at value area low. Here comes SOXL into the 55s. This is the big level. If they don't hold this, and we might get a bit of a fire sale here, I think. It's a big, big, big level. So I'm waiting to see if we can lift up to sort of 60 to 70 on the Qs. 55s here, SOXL starting to break right into it. Oh, don't go without me. Don't you do a fucking wash without me. You fucker. Please bid up off it. Please bid up off it. Oh, it's letting go. It's the hardest thing with the market, and it goes without you when you're not positioned. Here it goes. Look at SOXL, just fire sale under 55s right now, really starting to drive down. So it's losing that bid. If it backtests 55 and stays heavy, maybe I'll be fortunate enough to get a lift here, seeing if there's a way of getting involved now. Here we go. It's the fire sale. We just talked about it. We just talked about it, didn't we? It's chips, man. It's the chips. Chips are doing the damage. So if you look at SPY, came into 730 like we talked about, big reaction. If you look at SOXL, lost its opening print down to 55s, fire sell. So it's going to back test 55 now. If they resell 55 on chips, this market in the Qs will be in trouble. You shorted SOXL off my call, $500. Nice. Well, there you go. Hardest thing in the market is when you see it and it doesn't give you optimal entry. So we can watch here for over-unders into sort of 40s. I'd much rather be short up here into premium price for the day, but we'll watch here if they time it with this 55 backtest and they fail it. VIX holding the 17 bid as well, which is good. ES relative strength is going to come back for that 730 by the looks of it. So maybe I can have a little peep at this a little bit higher. Here's the backtest of 40. I wouldn't mind peeping this up at 60s. Coming into VPOC here. There's a good rejection of VPOC. Oh, okay. Feeler on. I've got a feeler on here, just in case. Just in case. That was the 40s move, right? So here we go. Value area low. Let's see if we break now. Can we break now and come back to our until this New York Open? Looking to trade into 390s. Here we go. Is the break. Right. 390s, and then I'm looking for 350s. Let's go. Let's go. At least we got a piece on at 40s. Thank goodness. Come on, get under 400, that psychological number. Yeah, baby. All right, filled some there into the New York Open with my limits out, and then we'll see. Really good. Why? Why is this happening? Chips, chips, baby, chips, baby, chips. Same reason we went up yesterday. All right, so covering a lot here. We'll see if we stay heavy here versus value area low or not. If we do stay heavy, we can try and get down into the 350s, but this was the move into the New York Open. So the move that we wanted to take some off at, and ideally we come down to 350s. If we lose 350s, which is where the sellers got stuck this morning, then I think we make a new low, but that's the big level. All right, so 2 for 2 now. Very, very nice. So all you people that were moaning yesterday that we can't do this and can't do that and this is shit and New York session shit, stop. Stop with your bollocks, all right? One day at a time. Not every day is going to be A+ scenarios. One day at a time. If you can't learn to sit still and not trade for half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a day, then you're in the wrong profession, all right? You're in the wrong profession. You have to be patient and you have to attack when the market's there to be attacked. All right, I'm out of this now on the retest. So runner's got knocked out there, and I'll just wait. But where is the weakness coming from? Maybe Alex has weak hands again. We're about to find out. The weakness is coming from here. All right, these are the chips. I'll remind you, we went over this morning. Okay, this is your failed follow-through pattern. That is your failure to follow through. Where are we coming back to? Probably down into some of these if we start to let go. All right, and if you're like, oh, it's not that bad. This thing is up stupid. All right. Here's your break from the April lows. There's your 1 month move from 40 to 166 or whatever it is. All right, so it's just profit taking at the highs, right, on the earnings coming back in. If we back the move this morning, was once we lost the New York Open. Remember, we failed to hold the New York Open. We washed the 55s. There's an option level here at 55s here, right? This is the big level. They stay heavy at 55s, we move down. If they reclaim 55s, they'll try and come back up to the New York Open. That's the level right here. Some of you had connection issues there. Did you really? On what? On Tradeify? That sucks if that happened. Sorry to hear that. All right, so traversing like a D shape at the moment. Here's the squeeze back up. So there you go, back through the 55s. That's why it's your under over. So dips being bought on the New York Open. That's why we cut the trade where we enter at 40, reclaim, back to the upside. And we can see a D-shaped profile here right now. All right, so we're chopping each side of this. Same thing applies here. We're coming from one side, right, one grey box basically to the other side of the grey box. If we base above and have strength, we get going upside. If we come back here and sell, we probably sell back down to here. I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to play the range, not while it figures it out. All right, we're 2 for 2 this morning. We're up nice. We're not going to start forcing trades now. Now we just wait. Wait. Did I sell down there? I sold the 40s. Right, I sold the 40s and covered most into the New York Open. Like I gave you this level to cover, and we were looking to see if it came down to attack the stuck sellers at 50s. It didn't, so we cut back out. Right, we take it off. We go next trade attitude. 730 being tapped into again on SPY. Big cool wall on SPY. 55 still the level on SOXL, which is just holding around these 55s at the moment. I'm willing to bid if we start to base above these grey boxes and start to hold, but not beforehand right now. Tradeify froze and didn't let me take big profit and stop me out for a little gain. That absolutely sucks if they've had issues there for you guys. I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. Right, still liquidity up here, 490 to 520 on the book. Pull this down a little bit. Same with you on Rhythmic. Oh, so it sounds like it was a CME issue then. That's bullshit, isn't it? That's not fair on you guys. That's not fair on you. I didn't have it my side, or unless I'd got out before you guys and didn't notice it. Yeah, lots of you saying that. I don't know if it's worth emailing them. I didn't have it. I got my cover into that New York Open. All right, a bid coming in here trying to force this squeeze up. Actually, he just pulled his bid. He was at 91 and he just pulled. He was 100 lot. Here he comes back in on the market. They're trying to get this 500 break for the high. SPY through that 730. So maybe they're ready to get going now. We'll see. High day clear out for New York coming up here. Lots of stops at this 520. So if you took the reversal where I stopped out, 420, 440, you want to be paying yourself here and seeing if they can get this break. Again, same issue as earlier, right? This is your big grey box. This is where we got stuck, right? So 480 to 520 right now is your resistance. This area here is resistance. This area here is support. This area here is the range rotation, right? We expected this range rotation here this morning. We went over it before the market opened, didn't we? Those in Discord. 500 to 360 can be rotate between, all right? 500 to 360. Low of day was 340. Most of the effort's been done around these 380s to 500, right? There's the range rotation, right? Acceptance above, acceptance below, look above and fail, look below and fail. Range rotation. ES divergence, yeah, again, because of chips, they're back under the 55s again. All right, back under the 55s again. Mag starting to go green, though. Tesla 0.82% up. Nvidia 4.5% up. Microsoft 0.25% up. Meta 1.25% up. Google just under 2% up. Apple 0.76% up. The lagger right now, Amazon 0.21% down. USAR, again, 1% up today. UUUU, another 5.42% up. Our swings over there looking very good. Oscar Health is one that I tried to bid in last year. I will try and have another go on that if it would give me a reload. I would like to get involved in that. I just needed to come back in a little bit. Just an ickle bit for me to reload into. So still in range here. Just check SoFi as well. It's another one I wanted to be involved in on dips. Still holding that gap down though. It's not ready yet. Don't think it's ready yet. Got too much cash on the sidelines at the moment. Waiting for a dip to come in this market. Might be waiting forever. Alex, as price approaches overnight value area high, do we typically expect this to be a rejection zone? Yeah, I mean it's your pinned in level, right? It's your pinned in level. So if this value area high overnight, value area low, this is our pinned in level, right? We can do that in multiple time frames. All you've got to do is zoom out a little bit at the moment. All right, think about this current week. This is current week profile. Where are we thick? In here. Zoom that out. All right, we're thick in there. So what do we expect? We expect we rotate in here. Right, remember, thick levels we rotate in. Thin levels we trade through fast. All right, so if we start to lose the bid at like 350s, all right, if they don't trap underneath, if they just continue to sell, back test 350 sell, then we come straight back down to 120s, right? But at the moment, we're just rotating this thick node. If we price and hold price over this node, then we've got to assume this becomes support and we're going to go back for high of day. This is why I'm trying to be patient right now as we rotate this node. As we well know, Alex doesn't really like rotations, all right? So I was willing to be a buyer this morning down here if we saw a reaction. We saw the reaction. I feathered in here. I said to you, I add heavy on the New York Open. Bang, there's the squeeze. Alex gets washed out with weak hands because he's an idiot, and we complete the move that he wanted, all right? We're now pinned in. All right, value area high, here. There's our pin. There's our options pin. All right, and there's overnight pin as well. All right, so we are just ping-ponging. All right, it's a game of ping-pong right now until they've built enough liquidity. I'm far from an idiot. Well, I was an idiot this morning. I cost myself probably about 80 points or something. Weak hand Alex this morning. Okay, 55 rejection. SOXL coming back down towards a low of day. If it breaks low of day, we might go fire sale again. I don't know. But we're in the middle of the ranges. Here we go, low of day. Low of day break on SOXL. So it rejected 55s. It's low of day break. If pop starts to fail here, Qs are going to really struggle. And again, SPY back under the 730, that cool wall. We're still just inside value right now for the current day as we ping pong around. But again, chips selling off. They rejected the 55s. So if pops start to fail here, then you might see this thing wash. It's interesting that Mag's caught a bid and chips are selling. So we're rotating out of those big squeezer names. In fact, let me just have a look. SNDK, where are we trading on that? Has it rejected the 1.5? So I fucking told my dad to take puts there yesterday and he didn't want to listen to me. Well, I told you so. If you're in here, I told you so. I said 1.5, take the puts at 1.5, Dad. One day he'll listen to me. The day I tell him. All right, big sell here. Look at that, 55 rejection, now 151 on the chips. We're still just trading around value right now. Value area low for the day for us. There can be weakness here if they start to let this go, but we're just trading around value right now. You can see this ping-ponging around. I would say these 40s, again, become very, very important. Because we're thin above. So these sort of 40s to 50s become important. If they start to sell this, you might see follow through downside. If they reclaim it, we go back to the upside of value. And it would just like keep rotating this while it figures it out. Here's the 40 test again. ES, great strength there, holding up pretty well. Still under the 730s, but it's right at it, there or thereabouts. So 40 rejection there. What did we hit? 36s. We might break down to lower day. Let's see if we can get a piece on if we're going to break. Yeah, but big wash. 150 coming up on SOXL. Some of you took puts there when I said it. I would be covering 150. I'd be watching 150, 147 25s, and your 144, 145, 144 14s for the gap fill. Just so that you know, those of you who did take puts on the SOXL, I know some of you took them. Just be aware of that. Patient, 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 folks. $730 still the level, SPY. There's your 150 tap and bid off on SOXL. That's what I'm saying. Cover a good chunk there. Big level. Back into value. So they're holding value area low. Back to these 440s for NQ. If we bid through 440s, they're going to come back up to point of control above through this thin volume. So this is a big level now. Sellers are trying to defend here at 40s and 50s. You can see them on the book. ES looks like it's trying to break for a new high. NQ does not know what to do right now. There's the 40 rejection. All right, is there a way of getting involved here? Here come the sellers. Bids are going to try and hold 20s here. So I'm going to wait to see if we break below or not. Don't want to be early to the gun. And coming back for these 40s and 50s. Sellers starting to stack here, trying to hold this pin in this low volume node. Where's ES? ES looks like he wants to break high of day. Azion, what another great morning now to start a 20-hour of studying. See you in Discord probably next week. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for joining. Looking forward to working with you. All right, 40 still rejection. Just waiting to see how we act at the 20s here because this keeps being absorbed here on the tape. We do have sellers stuck here this morning at the 20s, so I'm trying to be patient to see if they start to hold in the money. A new low of day again at the 150s on the chips. So you can see this node here, 40s to 20s being rotated. So we are building out liquidity here. All right, if they lose this, this becomes possible. If they rebid this, this becomes possible very quick because we're thin both sides. So here's the chop and here's the chop and here's the thin and here's the thin. And it looks like we're trying to do this move here at the moment while ES is at high of day. Here we go. Let's see if these sellers start to take control here for a little piece on here for the breakdown, just in case they want to do it. Very, very risky because this is where they got caught this morning, but the momentum looks good, especially for a 400 break. Tiny size here, just playing with house money at the moment. Will not let this come back above 36s for me. Oh, they've just caught them. Come on. I'm not going to hold through 36s. Through 36s, we're going to go 55s pretty quick, I think, and fill all these guys who could have walked down and didn't. And SOXL back above the 150. Going to give it a second to shake out to see if we can get this move. I'm not going to add into it. I'm tiny, tiny micro size here. About to take me out here into 36s. You fuckers. Alex. Trying to get a break where they were already trapped. Jump the gun a little bit. Just like yesterday. A little bit jumping the gun. Might keep me in here. Oh, might keep me in here. 20s is big. 20s to 40s is the rotation. I'm not going to let it come above 36. I'm going to be stingy with it. Come on. Keep me in here. No. Absorbed it again. ES new high day. Oh, God. Divergence is playing out. come on. Come on, sellers. Complete it for me. Here we go. That might be my first good stop in a long time. Come on. Big battle down here. Stopped. Tried to give it a shake. Well, if we break here, like I said, the danger is the break here will take us right the way up. That's why I've stopped out here. ES new high of day. That's fun, isn't it? ES new high of day. NQ looking like it wanted to break down. SOXL made a new low before finding a bid. And VIX now stuck at 14s. Well, this is why I don't trade range. I fucking hate it because I try and play continuation. Grab a coffee for you. I am due a refill, so yeah, we'll do that. How are we doing? We're an hour into the day. How are we doing on the likes here? We're 2 for 3, and that was much smaller size than the others because I knew it was risky. How are we doing for likes? Rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. Come on, guys. 2,200 of you here, 400 likes. Right, you got to get that up to 1,000 likes so we can do some giveaways, as always. There you go. So repricing this thin liquidity, like I said, 440 break probably takes you right the way up to 475. You can see because we're thin in here. Right, while this buggers around and ES makes a new high, I will consider getting long if we show strength above the grey box. Otherwise, I'm probably going to leave it alone now because I have 3 trades in this range. I don't really love trading range, as we know. And get a refill. Hopefully you guys get me to 1,000 likes, then we'll do a giveaway when I'm back. Oh, look at ES. Oh, a beauty. Yes, such a better trader right now. We are stuck in range and it's tight. It's a very tight range here now. Very tight range. I keep just looking at that M5 at the moment. Right here. Right, H1's holding RBS. But can't get follow through above this. Here's your M5 range, right? That was the best short of the day. We went here for that. There's your bid up that we took this morning, the long. Here's the range starting to coil and get very tight. Someone's going to get hurt soon. It's not going to be me. I've had 3 trades now. All right, someone's going to get hurt soon. At some point, one of these is going to happen. All right? We have to wait. We have to wait. You say that too often. I'm about to switch to ES, but you know the story. You know what you know what that rule is, right? The moment you switch to ES is going to do the opposite. It's always the case. I used to play that game. NQ is a better day trader, but ES is being very well behaved. Man, UNH. Oh, I missed the dip this morning. Did anyone in Discord get that? UNH get the dip this morning into its RBS zone of 58. Oh, devastated. That was it. Oh, fuck. I hate missing a swing, which could potentially be very, very good. That annoys me much more than day trading because the compounding gains and swings are way bigger. Way more bigger. And the rotation continues. What a fun day. This is good. Well, we're just to the edge of range again. Nothing's changed, folks. I know it looks like a really big candle, but it is. But we're just back to the edge again, right? Nothing's actually changed here. We're just ping-ponging around until we see some follow-through. What's their news on that? Iran warns ships against crossing strait without permission. I mean, we're back into he said, she said. That's what we're in. Right, 730 starting to hold on ES. It broke above. If it bases here, it's got a chance to do more. NQ's still in a tight range. Nothing's changed. Value area high to value area low. Value area low to value area high. Back to point of control. Midpoint. Decision, decision, decision. Nothing else has changed right now, folks. We're not seeing a follow-through day right now. We're seeing a range-building day at the moment with divergence to ES just to make it triply hard. But we did reject 440s-ish there. But you haven't got follow through underneath value area low right now. So we can go right the way back up. We can do whatever we want right now in range. We're going to chop and hurt a lot of people until this thing's ready. So we're going to have to wait. In my mind, we're waiting for a clear breakout one side of this, outside of value. Alex, I'm curious about your decision to use props as opposed to trading your own. How do you weigh the pros versus cons? I do both, but I prefer to swing trade my own account. Props are very cheap. Take money out of props, put them into your own investments, let them work, compound. Worst thing about props, the rules. Yeah, the rules are the worst thing. You know, that's the hardest thing with props, sticking to their rules. Best thing about props, leverage, very cheap. You know, think about that Lucid account, which I've now taken 2 payments out of. I'm now, where am I up on this again? All right, this is what I traded again. Small size, overnight, compound, make the little gains. All right, so I've already pulled $4,000 out of that. I'm up $11,275. In 4 days, I'll take out another payment. That would be $6,000. That account cost me $98. Nothing, is it? $98. I will 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I will get $10,000 out of that and move $8,000 to live. I'll effectively get 18. I'll turn $98 into $18,000. Why do I trade props? That's why. Return on investment is insane. It's insane. So you take that money, you put it into your swing account, and then you do things like this. Let me get my swing account. All right, let's just think about, all right, iBet, for example. All right, iBet, I'm up 26% on. All right, let's have a look at AMD. Now, I'll be honest, I've sold most of my AMD, so I have very slim profits left in this. AMD, I'm up 147% on the swing. These are commons, by the way. These are not options. Okay, these are just like an example. All right, let's have a look at Oracle. Oracle, I'm up just under 38% on. Yeah? So if we can get return on investment, if we can turn $100 into 18,000, and then we can invest that 18,000 into something which is compounding a minimum of 10% a year, minimum, it's easy money, isn't it? Again, I'm not a I'm not here to give you advice on investment, whatever that legal spiel is. All right, I'm a 40-year-old schmuck on YouTube that supports Arsenal wearing glasses with a ponytail. All right, take with that what you want. But what I do is take my money out of this, roll it into swings, compound it. Nadeem, I'm on it, mate. I'm starting to learn more. Like I said, I do take swings occasionally. I like, you know, some of you would know I took puts on Car Avis. I will buy calls and buy puts, but what I want to learn more about, especially for when a market goes into range, is like iron condors and butterflies and all this stuff. You forgive me for supporting Arsenal. Okay, like I said, guys, lots of you thinking the market was done then. I said, look, we're just still in a range. Nothing's changed. Right, this is why you have to be patient. Try and ignore stuff like this. When you see stuff like this, all right, all we did is flush down back to this side of it, all right? There's been no change, right? We're pinned in here until we find acceptance above this, and then we're either going to break or we're going to see a fail break and a trade back in, all right? So we're waiting now to watch. SOXL found a bid at 50s, is right back to 55s, all right? So we'll see if the chips start to kind of catch a bid. ES is looking magnificent. It's coming back up to all-time highs already. So we'll see if we can break out here and start to hold pullbacks anywhere around here. We will think about getting long. We can break out here and hold pullbacks. We will think about getting long. We don't want to get caught in a failed break. Do I put any, where's that question gone? Any weight on session CVD? I do watch session CVD, but like I put more weight on what's happening each 5-minute candle, right? Because we're day traders. So, you know, I'm watching more of that. But if you look at Bookmap above me, this is the session CVD, which has been climbing slowly the last 6 minutes. So we have to see now if pullbacks hold 80. Right? Do pullbacks hold 80 here? Remember, ES has done a big drive out. 500 to the level. Look at this seller, 223 lot of 500. So do pullbacks hold sort of 80 to 65 range? If they hold that dip, maybe we can think about getting long back to the 500 side. ES is just on an absolute ripper right now. We haven't broken out yet, but if we're going to hold this, this clear out can come, and that just might be it here. 500, 225 lots. So just for, we're still ping-ponging. I want to see if we pull back and hold here, especially with ES so extended. Initial balance now set. Very different days. ES is outside of its IB. NQ is inside of its IB. So ES is in an extension mode. So this move back to sort of 80s is going to matter here on the NQ. 80s to sort of 75-ish. Bulls will need to hold that print of value area high. If they can't hold that, they're going to fail to move upside. There's lots of liquidity upside to go and take. Again, this grey box matters. Grey box to grey box. Lewis Hamilton trade. Box, box. Here's the pullback into the 80s. So are they willing to support the bid here or not? At the moment, yes. So I've got a little piece on for the long here, back up. We need to break 500s now, and I don't want to give it any more wiggle room. I bid value area high there, and I'm not going to give it wiggle room. I want to see us go and take out 500s. Otherwise, I'm going to take a break even straight away. Not going to give this room. Back down, break even. Might have one more attempt at this same trade here. VIX perking a little bit. Got to be careful the timing of this. ES wants to go. Some absorption on the tape here. They want to do it. I wonder if it needs a little wick down first. I want to be careful because I'm trying to play the expansion in a range and we haven't broken out yet, so I need to be careful. I don't want to give money back. Took a small BE here. We'll see if we think they can hold the print as ES comes back in a little bit. So I've had one break even, one small loss, 2 big winners. Probably got one more decent trade in me here. Here's the print that they have to hold. They lose this, they slide right back down in this thin volume again. This is the print here that they have to hold. Good job. Good job holding it. All right, they're going to come for the 5s. Missed my fill. Missed my fill. Here we go. Can we hold a print from Alex to get back in? That was it. They got to take 5s out now. 222 lot of 5s. ES going for it for all-time highs. Here we go. You got to get through the 5s and extend here, please, market. Can't keep faffing around. Come and fill this guy and then just squeeze it out. Come and fill this guy and squeeze it out. Still not even attempted to fill him at 200s. His 200 lot at 5s. Here we go. They're having another attempt here. Still not filled him. There's a bit of front running. Bid coming in at 90. I think once we fill him, we squeeze. There you go. Right, there's the fill. And we should squeeze out another 20, 30 points here. Here we go. Come on. Come on. Please see follow through here. Another 20, 30 points. All I'm looking for. Come on. Fill these last few orders up here. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good boy, NQ. Good boy. All right. Good boy. All right. I had to have 2 attempts at that, but we drew it out beforehand, didn't we? Holding this bid. Took me 2 attempts. And there we go. All right. And you can hold runners now. I'm out of that, but we can hold runners now. If we start to rebid and base up here, we can look for this move back to 640s. But that was the move I wanted, just from here to here. Clear out that liquidity. How did I call that? Just too many years of doing this shit. Just understanding what we do when we clear out liquidity. This might keep going here because they're adding liquidity higher, but this was the clear out of the stops. ES going for all-time highs here as well. Beautiful. Well, if you're still in this, you look fantastic now. They've caught all the shorts now, so we might have had an Alex trade where he sold too early. The H1 transition is what? 38s. Cool wall here is at 20s. This is what I was just looking for, that rip up through here. So they will need to hold price here again, all right? If they can't hold, if you are still long, if they can't hold this grey box, you're in trouble. At the moment, that's a good response. If they hold this grey box, you can think about them trying to get this move. You want to be very careful about that, all right? Because we've now cleared out the stops. And the next level really, I'd say 550 to 560. 550, 560, 585 for your runners. Again, I'm out. I'm just being honest with you. I'm out. I'm done with it. Did what I wanted there. Big buyer, remember, came in at 500. So they will want to keep that buyer. There's a 187 lot buyer at 500. Actually, he's bigger than that. He's more like 2, 4, 3, 1, 3, 4, 3, 6. Yeah, like 360 to 370 lot buyer around that 500, right? To clear out that big seller that was there, right? So they will want to hold 500. If they lose 500, that buyer will be out of position. ES, by the way, just hit new all-time highs. I think. Let me just check that. Did it miss it by a tick? No, it took it. Right, ES new all-time highs. That's the strength in ES. If you're trading ES, right, your next targets are 375 and 380. Those are the options levels it's trying to drift up to. So the RBS on ES has been very, very nice. The question is NQ willing to play catch-up or not? SPY used to be my bread and butter. It did. It did, Harry. It did. Even before I traded live, I traded SPY and Apple and Tesla a lot on commons. Well, actually, and TQQQ and SQQQ as well. I actually didn't trade SQQQ that much. I'd end up shorting TQQQ rather than longing SQQQ. I just found it too hard to look at and do the math properly. All right, here's your wiggle up here. You can see the wiggle up here into that options level, that 520. Yeah, so 520 to 500 is your ping pong right now. Here's the 500. Remember, they need to hold the bid here at 500, otherwise that buyer's going to get himself caught. Big decision time for this market. Big, big, big decision time for the market. Grey box is holding so far. Remember, they're trying to get up here. You're into the 61 as well. It's a big level. This is a big level. ES failing to break here. So you're at the IB. There's 2 trades here, right? There's the continuation or there's a failed breakout. All right, there's a failed breakout above all of this. 645 on that quick long. I need to practice my discipline, so I'm done for the day. Nice, mate. Good work, Ryan. And that's good discipline by knowing you need to be done. Good work. Am I looking to add? Not right now. I'm letting this shake out a little bit. It looks like it's going to keep screaming at the moment. They're adding liquidity higher. Let these guys do what they want to do with it at the moment. Like I said, your next levels are, I'd say, the 50s, the 60s, the 75s, the 85s, right? That's what it's screaming towards right now. Remember, we're into thin volume now. We've done all the work in the thick churn, right? And we're into thin volume now as we come upside. There are some little nodes that we're starting to come into here, actually, if I'm honest. 40 to 50, there's a thin node, and then I'd say 55 to 78, there's a thin node. So these are big levels up here if they fail to follow through. My stomach is rolling right now. Remember, the look above and fail will be that 500 level, yeah? Can I read your comment and send it 5 times? Well, I'm watching price at the moment, mate. Like, my main job's to watch price, not to look for what you want. I will scan through when I can. All right. I'm also here to trade, yeah? They're still adding liquidity higher right now. ES, the question right now is ES going to hold the old all-time highs? Is it willing to find a bid here at sort of 65? You really asked me how do you copy trade? Come on. So you want to pull me out of watching price to tell you how to do something which there's probably a million videos on that you could just quickly have a look at, right? Use affordable indicators or use TradeSync or whatever you want to use. Use a trade copy tool. Jeez. They're still adding liquidity higher. I just don't think I can get involved up here now. This was probably it. He dips into the grey boxes and that 500 hold. That buyer's still comfortable. I feel uncomfortable now. No acceptance above 27 yet. Still liquidity higher. Nice hold of 150. Nice hold of 155 now. Chips coming back up to VWAP at 158. That's a great hold. So much liquidity higher to fill. ES so good. So good. I think it wants 380s ES. It's trying to hold this print. This old high print on ES. That's what it's trying to do. We got anything else to print for? Only all-time highs. There's nothing else up here. Very, very thin. Not willing to bid up here. It's too dangerous. It's too dangerous. Can I show my trade if I took one? Are you joking? So you've just turned up and you're asking, right? You've just turned up and you're asking. All right, here was the long we took. Here was the short we took. Here was the short I lost. And here was the long. All right, so 4 trades. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's it. long, no, long, add, long, short, rotation, short, failure, right? This was the, I think I stopped one and broke even on the other, and then long here, an extension. That's it. Those are the 4 trades. You guys got to get here early. We call these early. They're still looking to lift this. Fill all these guys. ES looks really good. It's holding its old high at the moment. I'm just not willing to long up here now. It's too dangerous. Look at how we're building this liquidity walking up. It's too dangerous. Even if they swipe it, it's way, way, way too dangerous at this point. 19,800 on the day across sim funded accounts. Beautiful day, Alex. Nice, buddy. Good work. They are slowly, slowly grinding this. This is ripe for a swipe down when they're done with it. This is why I'm not willing to long this up here. When we do these channels, oh, and this is so thin. There you go. When we do these channels, these are ripe for swipes. I'm not willing to long on a channel like this when I think they can run all the stops out of it. Doesn't mean it can't move higher. It's just the risk reward isn't there for me. Balance up to 34s. Just check that overnight level. Yeah, we get really thin above here. Overnight, above 40. Above 40, we're very, very thin from overnight. So that 40 level is a big level. There's a little imbalance at 47s, and then 61s, and then 76s, and then 90s. So they might try and fill some of those upside. But yeah, my appetite is not here to long up here now. Too risque. Too risque. There's the 40s. They're ping-ponging up here now as well. Great. So it's not a short for me and it's not a long for me. It's just a sit still. We just see what the expansion would be today if they were to do it. Waiting to this pivot. Market's gone to sleep here. It's in like a 15-point range. Market's gone to sleep a little bit. They're trying to fill this seller at 50s. There's still liquidity all the way up to 90 right now. Here they go. First imbalance about to be tagged into at 45s. Like I said, this thing has got the chance to get going, but lagging behind drastically right now. Measured move will be up here if they do it. It's a big if they do it right now. All right, that little imbalance being filled there at 45s. Still got more to go upside if they're truly going to come into these measured moves. But again, these moves here, you just don't really want to be long in when they do this. This is the slow grind. Like, you want to be long from down here. You don't want to be adding long up here. These are susceptible to doing like this, and then a swipe, and then coming back up later. So I'd rather wait to see if we come down here again before doing, oh, don't delete that before doing anything else. Right, in this kind of channel here. Certainly don't want to be short against this right now while we start to grind up. 380 looks like the level for ES. SPY's run out of levels, honestly. It's completely run out of levels to go through at this point. So we can use a fib extension if you're trading the spiders. 334 would be a fib extension. We might come and wash these guys out like we just talked about. This is what very, very dangerous to be long up here, like I said. Very, very dangerous. They love to swipe, to trap longs, grinding up, get late bulls, and then swipe them down. It's like the most common thing you see. You see this pattern play out over and over and over and over again. That's why I never long these patterns. And they can easily come and swipe down, test the 500 again. Was 500, isn't it? Yeah. Here you go. So into this mini thick node here, and if they lose the bid at 25s, they're going to come test 15s and then 500. All right, while this figures out, do we have enough likes yet? Because I'd like to do a giveaway and then use the bathroom. That coffee's gone straight through me. All right, at least 1,200 of you still not hit the like. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. I think with is it 3 for 4 or 3 for 5 today? I'm not sure. One break even, one tiny little loss, and a couple bangers. 3 bangers. Can you just smash that like button at the bottom of the screen? Can we get in the habit of doing that? And then I can give stuff away. Why do we do it like that? Well, it means that it helps me in the algorithm, and then I can, the more people on stream, the more giveaways I get from the prop firms to give back to you. Okay, here we go. Here's the start of the crack. So here's 25. 25 matters now. They lose 25, they can fill into 15. They lose that, they come down to 500. All right, so when you see these grindy patterns, all right, do not get long in them. The long was from here, right? There's your RBS zone. You don't want to be longing these. You are susceptible to a wash and a bid back up later. Okay, that's how they trap you. We just talked about it before this happened. I literally just talked about it. Again, how do you know? It's just experience, guys. It's just experience in the market. It's just a long time of seeing the same things happen over and over again. That's literally how the market works, right? Like you want to be positioned. You want to have enough experience so that when you see something, you go, I've seen that before. I'm not going to do this. Okay. Code FZT, just type it in chat once. Please don't spam. All right, you only need to type it once. Please don't spam. And we'll give away a free Apex account here. I am going to use the bathroom very, very quickly while you guys get that figured out. And I'll be right back. Okay, team, how we doing? Let's have a look. Should we pull the winner? I'll give you guys 10 more seconds in case some of you haven't done it yet. So the wash and the break, we came into that little low volume node at 20s. And they're still looking, it looks like they want the measured move now after washing some of those guys out. They didn't come as deep as I would have thought they would normally. There's lots of liquidity here, 55s and then 85s at the moment. And again, ES has normally almost hit its target, 375 and 380 are its cool walls. There's nothing above that right now. There's nothing else to look for. So those are the extension targets for the options players. Okay, let's pull this winner. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I've got no chance in saying that. Jaehan Guan. That's my guess. Sorry if I butchered it. 9780. Jiehen Guan. I think that's how you say it. Let me know you're here. Please don't be offended with that awful pronunciations. All right, 375 tagged on ES. That's your call wall 2. Call wall 1 is 380. That's probably your max move for the day. Be aware. You're here. Congratulations. All right, email me, please. info@flowzonetrader.com. Send me a screenshot of you logged into your YouTube. And then I will sort you out with a free Apex account, my friend. Okay, so the ES has basically done the move it's looking for. It's maybe got 5 more points left in it. We're still front side in this, right? This is still front side. There's no backside in it, but you can see it's starting to perk out and peak out a little bit up here. Doesn't mean we can't keep grinding, but that's where we're at the moment. What did you say? I missed my long entries at 416. Now I'm feeling FOMO. 416 down here this morning. I mean, we were long down here, but this is what happens, man. 416, 416, value area low. Yeah. Don't feel FOMO. Just know there's another day. It's just one day, right? It's one day. Who cares? Right? You'll get more opportunities today, tomorrow, the next day. Who cares? Who cares? That's how I see it anyway. Who cares? Right, ES struggling at 375. 380 is the last level to go for. Over there, I guess, 7,400. Psychological level. NQ starting to build out a little range topside now. There's still liquidity above for it to go to. We're still bullish overall. We're in a bullish breakout. And we held the RBS zone. But we're coming into levels where you would not want to be long up here. New money long. 40's the background. Yeah, you're right. 40s are the background. 25 to 40s again, just 100 points higher. You're right. You're absolutely right. They obviously like those numbers at the moment. Watching the ES here. Where's VIX? VIX perking over 17s. Chips back to VWAP. So they flushed. Remember, they flushed 55s earlier down to 50s. Back to VWAP. Printing at the 58s right now. That 55's over under was your guide for today. Worked pretty well. We're right back to VWAP. Still holding my last runner with a stop deep in the money. Nice, man. Oh, that's good work. Great work. All of the mag now green. I'll give you a readout. Tesla 0.62% up, Nvidia 4.20% up, Microsoft 0.72% up, Meta 1.84% up, Google 2.52% up, Amazon 0.5% up, Apple 0.18% up. Broader names, AMD 14.57% up, NLR 2.20% up. What else we got? Netflix 0.18% up. Yeah, I did get it right. 5.5% up. USAR 1.24% up. Oscar having a good day. Unfortunately, we're not in that. We were looking for dips, missed it. Some of those big quantum names are moving, like IREN 9.5% up, IONQ 4.10% up, and Rigetti 5% up. Anyone who's in the Discord will have had their eyes on those for a little while with me. We'll just see what else. The other name in the Discord is 6.87% up. You'll know which one I'm talking about, those guys in Discord. The quantum name that was very, very cheap with the deal with NVIDIA that we were looking at. So it's starting to base and hold now. It's a good sign for long into the future. And the space ETF is also up again today, which is great. So swing's paying yet again. Alex, I just wanted to say thank you. Made 4,000 today over 3,001 funded. Nice work, mate. Nice work, mate. What about long for 8,500 pullback and base? Yeah, that would be a good area to get long if it comes back down there in bases. I would agree. As long as it hasn't taken all the liquidity out from the highs, right? So if we come down there in base, if we wash down here, if we do like a 2-leg, all right, and we base, then yes. And then you're paying yourself into these levels on the way up. That's why we're not long. Oh, well, for me, I'm not long up here. If they just do the grind all day and don't give a notable move into here, if that was it and I missed it, so be it. It's okay. I traded that part of it already. Do I run a delay on my stream? No, it's as quick as possible. But I think the fastest you can get is 6 seconds. That's the fastest available, but I run it as quick as possible. There's no delay. What do I think of the Vanquish? I quite like it. I'm eyeing up something for myself at the moment. I'll probably wait till I move first. But I want to go and take the Vantage out. And I'm also looking at a 911, probably 991.1 Carrera 4 GTS, because it was the last naturally aspirated one. But I will take a new one out. So I'm looking at those two at the moment. But we'll see. I'll probably wait till I move to Texas before I treat myself to anything. Late 40th birthday present to myself. I haven't watched the Michael movie yet, no. Not yet. Yeah, dude, AB Flow State, you can ride shotgun. Yeah, hell yeah. We'll go and hit up some bars together. I'm looking forward to it. Got to convince the wife to move there first, though. So not this week. I will be taking next Friday off, by the way, folks, because that's when I'm going to Austin to go and check it out with the wifey. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll be away. So next Friday, I won't be here. Okay, we're coming back down a little bit here, back into this node. You can see this is the node here. And we'll see if they drop it down into here and if and how we act. Like 7.5, big level on ES coming back down to its RBS zone again. VIX perking over 17s. Market's sort of gone a bit stagnant since doing that wash around earlier. It's just a bit stagnant at the moment. I'm moving to Texas. No, I mean nothing confirmed yet. I'm eyeing it up. I'm eyeing it up. So I'm going next weekend to Austin with the wife to go and see if we like it. That would be the first trip. We're going to have to do many, many trips if we do like it. So next weekend will just be about having fun. Staying in a hotel downtown, take her out to some nice dinners, do some fun things. If we like it, we'll take it more seriously. But my property in London is up for sale. Went on sale last Friday. So we'll see if we can get what we want for it. We can be cash buyers in Austin, which would be nice. We'll see. We just have to see. One thing at a time, right? But certainly sick of paying rent here. Fucking ridiculous. Sick of paying rent, sick of paying taxes, sick of buying shit food and paying a fortune for it in California. Absolutely done with it. It's bullshit. Austin is definitely not a mini California, right? You're mad. It's definitely not. If you think Austin prices are anything close to LA prices, you're bonkers. They're not even close. What I pay for my apartment here, I could have probably an 8-bedroom house in Austin right now. It's not even close. It is ridiculous in LA right now. Market is completely asleep here. Here come the sellers. They're trying to force this breakdown. I'm watching this intently to see if we lose this grey box and want to flush, to see if there's a move to Dallas. I don't think Dallas is for me, but I wouldn't mind checking it out. I need it. Like, what I like about Austin, having visited there, is the growth. There's lots of growth there. There's lots of art moving in there. There's lots of comedy there. There's lots of bands and DJs. All my friends that I only get to see once or twice a year, they all tour there now, which is nice for me to be able to see them. They've got the F1. They've got a soccer team. You know, it's a walkable city. There's lots of bars and restaurants, which we don't have in LA. LA is not a walkable city at all. And property prices a lot more bang for your buck. All right, so if I wanted to have family come and stay, you got to remember I'm from London. Like, all my family are in Europe. I can't have them come and stay with me where I am at the moment. I just don't have the space. So lots of things like that are positives. All right, bottom of this grey box. If we start to leave this grey box, we might visit the next grey box. So this is kind of an important level. ES coming back to its old high here as well. So a very, very important level here while the market makes a decision. There might be a quick short scalp here, opportunity back down right where we are now. So if we start to leave sort of 30s and trade through the 20s, there's probably a move back down to 500s, and then we can see what happens here. So we're going to start washing out all these guys that we talked about. I don't think I'll take this first short. I think I will wait to see, though, if a bid starts to form down here. Ideally, they don't hold this first low volume node. Ideally, we come down into this. And if a bid forms here, I'm interested in this move here, right? So if you want to take this short here, right, you've got to be careful. There's the grey box. This is the low volume node where they can trap and bid on. But if you let go of this grey box, if you're short here, you can put your stop at 40. You can look for this move, and you want to be paying yourself at 15, at the IB high at 505, and then 475, all right? So if you're going to take this counter trend short on the day, stop above here, cover, 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 and then I'm going to wait to see if we bid back up off this kind of area. So those are the two plays. If you want to play counter trend, you're short here, your stops here. You're looking for this, this, and this as your TPs. And I'm going to wait to see if we bid back up. That's what I'm waiting for. Just so we have clarity. I'm trying not to take the counter trend today. What am I missing here? Sorry, folks. Missing what some of you guys say. Austin real estate prices are extended, mate. I don't think you understand. Don't think you understand. I'm in a 2-bed, okay, a 2-bed flat, and it's 5.5 a month. Austin ain't even close. I'd get an 8-bed house. Right? It's not even close. LA is fucking insane right now. It's completely insane. Right? To buy this apartment, I'd need like $1.8 million right now to buy this apartment. It's not even close, guys. It's not even close. So you might think it's extended, but it ain't close to LA. what the gas price is at in LA. I think they're like 6 and a bit at the moment. It depends where you are. We had a look this week. There's a Shell up the road. I think it was like $6.60 or $6.70, somewhere around there, I think. So they held that low volume node, the 20s. Same as me. Someone said no counter trend for them. Yeah, same as me. I'm not looking for the counter trend. I'm ideally hoping we come back here, but we're not. We've just held that dip. We held the Globex level, this orange line, and we held the low volume node here. So that was the trap underneath. So they washed these guys out and they're going for it. Unfortunately, I'm a cheapskate, right? So I wanted to come back to value. Maybe it's going to cost me that. Not taking the reclaim, but there we go. Honestly, guys, I don't think anywhere in the world is more expensive than LA right now. Maybe Japan. I really don't think so. People in London think London's expensive. My first shop, I remember my first shop. I moved here just before COVID in February. And I remember going to like a Ralph's to do a weekly shop. And it was a big shop because I had to buy, you know, things like, I don't know, bleach, alcohol, all the things. Remember, I'd never shopped. It was my first ever shop in America. And I remember getting to the checkout. It wasn't particularly big, but I needed the basics. I remember them being like, you know, that's $380, sir. And I was like, you fucking what? How much? $380. I was like, what the fuck? I said to my wife, maybe we're shopping at somewhere really expensive. Maybe like this store is really expensive. And then I realized it wasn't. Now, if I want to get ripped off, I go to Bristol Farms. If you want to get ripped off, that's where you go. That makes Whole Foods look cheap. Why? Some of you keep writing the same stuff. Did you hear about the Death Valley Marathon guy? No. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, Gelson's. That's another punchy one. What did I use bleach for? I drank it because Donald told me that it would stop me getting COVID. So I'm joking. Cleaning, obviously. Have I been to Air One? Yes. I do treat myself to an Air One every now and again for a lunch. Just to look at the insane Instagram girls in there. Oh my God, I got a Bieber smoothie. Oh my God, it's so good. I paid for it on Daddy's credit card. Have you tried the latest wrap from Air One? Oh my God, I got this cute little tote bag from Air One. Don't tell anyone, I shop in TJ's, but I walk around with this, so I look really rich. It's fucking true, I'm telling you. Have you tried that Bieber smoothie? Oh my God. Oh, God. America, fuck yeah. What a crazy place. What a crazy, crazy place. All right, box to box it is. All right, this is the extension. So this is, we're coming in towards sort of the 1.5 extension. Remember, ES, by the way, is broken out. So to give you an understanding, ES has already broken out above this, has pulled back and held this level, right? ES is still going. I am starting to get a bit upset with myself, given that we bought down here expecting this move, and if we based above here, we were going to look for this move. We haven't I mean, we are basing above it, but we bought this pullback and it's just gone since. I shouldn't get too salty. It's one of those, you make your money day trading and then you think, oh, could have held on for this whole thing. My call price this morning was down here. Could have maybe got it, this whole thing, but we'll see. We will see. Oh, my days. Yeah, if any of you did get long or are holding, I would definitely say some partials into here. ES is starting to get a bit stuck at these 75 and 80, so I can just show, like, all I'm running on right now is, no, that is not what we're looking for. We are looking for this. Thank you. All right, we're coming into the cool walls up here. All right, see what I mean? We've just held this RBS zone. So if we think about ES performing very nicely this morning. We just zoom out. Right, here's our RBS zone, which we held on the dip and rip overnight. All right, we ripped up, we came all the way back down, we tapped the same level twice. There's the it getting compact. There's the hole. There's the rip, and we've just held the new RBS zone. All right, but you're in TP land. Yes, you're in TP land here. All right, maybe you get a re-extension, but you want to be paying yourself, even on the NQs, because this has been the leader today. I tell you what, though, I've only just seen this. Wow, what a turnaround. Remember the 55s and the 50s? The 55s, the 5s and the 50s, and up we go. Great recovery, V-shaped recovery there on chips. These are the chip names. Can we get back to NQ? But yeah, chilling now. Had some nice trades this morning. We'll see if we can get one more set up. I really don't want to be counter trend though. But I'm not willing to buy unless we come right back down. So here you go. This grey box starting to get a little bit stuck there. They are still just bidding every low volume node for this drift higher at the moment. Imagine taking ES long at the IB midpoint. What are they, like 43s to 45s? I mean, that it looked really good. If you look at that pivot this morning from like 8 a.m., it's a really good pivot and hold. And you know, what are you up now? 30 points? 50, 60, 70? Yeah, 30 points. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Alex, where do you see the end of this rally? In what area? 29, 30,000. Oh, on the Qs. I mean, we've got room the longer we base. What I would say is, we talked about this. All right, I think this is going to have a lot to do with it. If we look at the spiders on a daily, we are completing the fib move. All right, I talked about this in the newsletter. All right, measured move is here, fibs here. All right, and it's the same for the Q. So I'll be using these as like an idea of where we might go. You can see I had this from the newsletter. So we're already through it on the Q. So the next part on the QQQ, if we're holding, look at this gap. We're holding the 1618. So they can come up for 717 now on QQQ. All right, if they're going to gap and go, if we're going to get a blow off, right, if we're going to keep gapping and going, I'd be watching this 717, and you can see right here, it's a big option level at 720. If we're going to blow off without, that would have to be without pulling back, then I think here is the level. All right, I think that's the level. But we are extended. Remember, like we went over it this morning. Our high of day this morning, we come back down into the daily. All right, our high of day is right into this top Bollinger Band. Now, this top Bollinger Band will keep moving upside with this 5-day. All right, so if we have like a little inside day and reset, then we can go higher. And if we look at the fib on this, we'll have to have a look. Is this on NQ1? Yes, okay, this works then. Let's have a look. Okay, measured move. 832 and 1618, 29,300. Right, so I'd be watching. Maybe we peak out here for a first peak out. If they peak out and pull back and hold a bid, 30,789, so 30,800. That would be a huge move. But we'll see. My feeling is we're frothy. It's AI mania, right? So maybe we do this and then move back into here. Maybe we pull back in. Look, back into here is a really big level. Old highs, point of control, and 20-day moving average. So if we can do a mean reversion back to there, that would be beautiful to be a buyer from there back up. would be a really nice spot here. Sort of 27,000, 26,500, somewhere around there would be a really, really nice spot to be a buyer. We just have to see, like I always talk about, like one trade, one day at a time, right? Alex, can you look at Bookmap, see if we absorbed selling into 20s? We can just see it in 20s. Yeah, 25 to 30, big selling got absorbed. Look, right here. Here they came. This delta here. Big selling. Twice. So they tried to sell it at 10.50 and they tried to sell it again at 11.15. Right, all in here. Yes, it got absorbed. Don't know why that can't move here. There we go. This candle and then this candle. And they tried a few times, smaller size, but yes, I'd say 25s to 30, big level where they've absorbed it. Absolutely. $1,200 likes. That's cool. We'll do a giveaway again in a bit. We'll do the course giveaway. How long we got? 30 minutes left. Let's do it. Let's do it. Keep you guys happy. Right, just type course once in chat. And we'll give a free 2-hour course, just an introduction to trading. Just great for people who've never traded before, who don't know what they're doing. You can always give it to a friend. Right, so ES failing to break the 75s right now. Right, ES failing to break the 75s. Give you guys a minute to do that. Oh. All right, I can get tickets. They're hospitality only for the final, 5 to 10K. Tempting. It's expensive, but it could be once in a lifetime. Last time we were in the final, I was 20 years old. What's Cheeky saying? I'm in priority 2. My season ticket should get them. It's tempting. I'll ask Live Nation as well and see if we can get a hook up there. Fingers crossed we get something. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind doing stuff like that when it's once in a lifetime. The thing is, I'll probably have to get 2, right? And that's sterling. So it's like, what, 2 would be between, what did he say, 5 to 10. So 7 to 13,000 a ticket, dollars. And I'd have to get 2 because I'm not going by myself. And I can't expect someone else to pay that. It's a lot of money. That's fucking big money. But, and plus flights. Then I've got to fly to Hungary. It's an expensive trip, but once in a lifetime. Well, hopefully not. I'll say once in a lifetime and we'll be in it again next year. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Touch wood. Touch wood. You're in shorts now, TP's 520. I mean, it's not backside yet, though. You haven't seen a blowout yet. It could be close, but it's not backside yet. It's an interesting area, but you're definitely not backside yet. Just a heads up. All right, let's pull this winner. 3, 2, and 1. Neil B5305. Neil B5305. You are the winner of the course today, my friend. Let me know you're here in chat. Neil B5305. Are you here, Neil? If you're not here, we're going to re-roll it. Let me know you're here. There you are. Nice. Okay, same thing for you, Neil. Just shoot me an email, info@flowzonetrader.com. Send me a screenshot of you logged into your YouTube, and I'll sort you out with a free course, my friend. All right, you did see some big buying there at the high of day, around the 80s. It's about an 83 lot up there. You haven't found acceptance above them. They're around 82 right now. But you are still front side. This can still drift higher. There's another imbalance on the M5 to fill up to 91s if they want to do it. Remember, you're in breakout. You've held the RBS. You're coming back upside. I'd love to be a buyer down here. We're not giving me that opportunity, but you're still front side. This is in a slow grind higher. We're not seeing that much profit taking. Profit taking happened pre-market, basically. We're not seeing much since, but we'll see. They're still adding liquidity higher right now. 95s, 600s, 615s, 625 have all just come on the book. So they're trying to lift it. Alex, how significant was that 200 buyer? We've been up since. Remind me where they came in. I'm trying to remember where we had that big transition for the break. It was at 500, right? Yeah, it was at 500. I see him on the book. Yeah, I mean, that's where we'd like to revisit. Right? Because we know there was a big buyer here. We would love to come back down there and see this buyer add in again for that move back up. That would be a really, really nice move. Yes, very significant would be the answer to that. Right? Because he's who caused this break. And we've never come back and tested him. And so there was a 200 lot seller here, got met with an even bigger buyer, and we've gone up since, and we've never retested this level since. So ideally, we come down here and retest it for a potential bid. We're going to see that. Again, grey box, we can wash. Remember, this can be the trap zone, the low volume node, but grey box can wash to grey box. If you come under here, then we'll get this move. These will be counter trend. If you're playing this to this, counter trend. This to this, counter trend. Right? What happens here is critical for the rest of the day. The low volume node so far today, look, every time we've come into a low volume node, we've absorbed back up. Right? We've absorbed back up. Just be aware of that. Buyers are willing to buy dips today so far. That's what the market's telling you at the moment. That narrative can change if there's profit taking. We're not really seeing it. If there's going to be, you'd expect it to be in this grey box, but we're not really seeing much of it right now. It's not like we're aggressively moving away from it yet. It might well come. The bottom of this grey box, important, just like it was here, but just remember what we did here. We absorbed. So if you're going to be counter trend, you need it to leave this, and you'll be looking for that. That's your TP. And if they leave this, you're looking for this. This is your TP. But be aware of what's happened every other time. Seen absorption. But this is a big area. Why? This was our failed follow through. So this is our peak high. This was our failed follow through. This is our drop. This is our failed follow through for shorts. This is our print. One side, the other side. That's the range. Not that far from all-time highs. How long did it take me to be profitable? I've talked about this before. I changed how I trade and what I traded quite a lot. So I was quite profitable trading small caps, and then I got nuked because how I traded was very, very, very much short bias counter trend when we used to do 2 max 3 standard deviation. And then when we started doing the stimmy checks, we started doing 5, 6, 7 standard deviation, and I got fucking nuked, mate. I got nuked, so I had to change how I traded. And then over time, I slowly moved as the small caps got worse and worse. I slowly moved to like mid and large caps, and then there is about a year where I just traded like 2 or 3 large caps and mainly the spiders and the Qs, and that's when I found consistency. But at the time, I was actually doing quite a lot of music at the same time. I was having to build an album, so it wasn't part-time because I would trade, but I just trade by myself in the mornings before I moved to futures. How's my win rate? Normally it's between sort of 68 and 73%. But like I always talk about, I think that's positively skewed. I'll be honest with you, I think that's positively skewed because you will see me take a lot of break evens or break even plus a tick. So that counts as a positive win rate when really, you know, I don't think that's always the case. I think a lot of those are break evens. But when I do get winners, like you would have seen on stream, they are often big winners. All right. This grey box becoming important. So if you are counter trend and you're short at 74s, you want to be risking 81s for this move back down into 50s. If you're looking for this short, there are imbalances here, which we're now starting to fill. So if you're playing this counter trend, we are into the start of these imbalances right here. Right? And if you trade through these, you're watching these sort of 56s and then 47s, and then maybe you get the 27s. Right? So if you're playing this counter trend, you're leaving, vacating the grey box, you better be covering some into this next grey box. Yes, same as we talked about earlier. Exactly the same as we talked about earlier. You are still in a bullish trend, as a reminder. How can we know that you gave the short? Because I talked about, what the I'm not even paying attention to that. It literally talked about it. It's exactly the same as we talked about here, and I've just talked about it. I'm not trading it, but I've told you what to look for about 5 times. All right, here's the trade all the way back down next to the grey box. You want to be taking some TPs in and around here. All right, if you're playing counter trend, you better be in scalp mentality and locking some in these moves. Mad. How do we know that you've called that? I don't know. By the words that come out of my mouth. Why don't I trade US 30? Why don't you trade gold? Why would I trade a CFD? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you trade small caps? Right, here's the revisit. So if they stay heavy here in the 70s to sort of, your protection needs to be 80s, and you're covering some here at 50s, and then you're looking for a breakdown to 27s. So covering some at 50s and looking for a breakdown to 27s. All right, and then under grey box, we can think about the next move, but not before that. All right, here's the 50s. So you want to be paying yourself some. Why don't you do this? Why aren't you a millionaire? Why aren't you that? What weird questions? I tell you why I don't trade CFDs, because they're scams. There you go. Because they're not centralized exchanges, because you'll get screwed by your broker. Yeah. Why don't I trade Pokemon cards? Because I'm not a fucking child. All right, so 50s here. Expect this to potentially relief here. And if you get a full crack of 50s, you'll be looking for the bottom side of this 27s. And under 27s, you can think about the 15s and all the way back down here. But your main TP right now, right, was short here, risking this, cover some here, because we can find relief here. If they let go of this, we come to the bottom side, right? And if they let go of this, we probably come to here and maybe even here. But you're still front side technically, right? You're playing a counter trend pullback leg into here if you're playing short. This is not a full crack or anything like that. Spread betting is tax-free, yeah, but the problem is, again, it's not centralized, but it is tax-free. I used to do it. It's how I started when I was like 19, 20, 21 on IG Index back in the day. Any suggestion of an ad? Well, it would need to be here. You'd need to add in front of this, using this as protection. So your ad would probably be this spike. Anything up here into 75, risking the other side of this node, 80s. That's your ad if you're looking for the counter trend. But like I said, you better know that if we do this, we make new highs. So your ad is this, your risk is the other side of this node. You'd be looking for this, but it's done the first move. It's found a bid at 50. Surprise, surprise. You can add in this and look for this, but you just have to know that it's counter trend. That's all I'm telling you. And bids keep showing up at 50s right now. If they lose 50s, we can see bids down here at 35s and 25s, and we can start sliding, and that would be really fun for you guys. So maybe you can wash inside this next grey box, but we know in here it's thicker, right? So we can chop. Unless they've got their exit, we can chop in here. At the moment, they're protecting it, as expected. When you're playing counter trend, you've got to expect each level that you come down to hold, right? You have to expect it to hold. So here's the 50s again. If they break 50s, you can think about that move back down to the 30s to 25. Remember, that's the level that we have value area high at, where they absorbed those sellers. Yes, it's where they absorbed the sellers earlier. So you pay respect to that. It's where these sellers, we talked about it, got absorbed right here, 25s to 30s. So if you leave, if you flush 50s, there's a little imbalance here at 46s, and then you can think about this move down to 30s to 25, and you need to cover more down there again. And then if you see acceptance under that, then the sellers might start to take some form of control for a rotation. I've been as clear with this as possible. I think I've made this pretty clear of like where I'd be short, where I'd be covering. I don't think I can do too much better than this. SOXL pulling back off the IB high as well, which is going to help you. That 160 on Soxal is going to matter. And this RBS zone on SPY, pre-market high on SPY, is also going to matter. All right, if they can't find a bid here, you've got more chance of that move back to the IB on SPY. If they find a bid here, you want to be cautious. Like I said, you are front side of the move still, right? You're starting to see it move into where you want it to move, but you're still technically front side because this is technically the higher time frame pivot. All right, nice. All right, hopefully you can pay yourself some into this, and if you see a full crack of that, then you can look for this move down here. What do I think about Liverpool being the biggest club in England? Well, I think you're full of shit, mate. I think you Scousers are having an awful season. I think Slot's going to go. I think the Toffees might do better than you next year. How about that? I actually really like Liverpool. I'm just winding you up. All right, so into the lower side of this grey box. So like remember here, 28s. Here's your next TP into value area high. And if you flush this, then you can think about the IB high into the 505s. Remember, this is where sellers got stuck earlier in the day. We talked about it. They are trying to bid off this at the moment. If they flush this, it'd be fun for you. ES coming back down to that IB high and VWAP. So remember, we can rotate this grey box. Right, it's what they did earlier. They can rotate this grey box. Liverpool 7, United now. I mean, Liverpool just lost to United, mate, so I'm not sure what you're on about. And I hate United, but that did just happen. And Liverpool looked woeful. They got 2 lucky goals. And I hate United. Like, I hate to say that, but you lot are in trouble over there. Okay, there you go. There's the trap. And they held it again. So, same level as before. Again, counter trend. What did we say? Counter trend. This feels like a bit of a news piece there. Do you see why it's important to take profit? It's so important to take profit at key levels. So important. What are we seeing here? See if we can find some news here. That felt like a news piece there. Not seeing anything yet. Politico analyst Mohammed Morandi. Trump, Witkoff, Kushner and their close associates have made a lot of money the past few hours from fake news they provided to Axios for publication. I mean, you're going to have to back that up. You can't just say something like that. I don't disagree, but you better be backing it up with figures. So same level as earlier, yeah? Think about this. Where did the sellers get caught earlier? Where's value area high? These are the sellers, this grey box. We talked about it. Average price of the sellers, 35. and 24. We went over this earlier in the day. They just held them. So those sellers remained stuck. So they might have just exited their position there, which caused that. If there wasn't news, it's probably them getting out break even. Can't see news here. Cannot see news here right now. 15 minutes left till lunch. Yeah, I think that was them just exiting their position. They were stuck there. They just got a reload in and they got out there for now. For now, this thing looks like it's trying to get back up to 600. So this is the level that we failed from earlier. Again, I'm not going to play counter trend today. For me, it's too risky to be looking at this. But I've called what's there for you. I told you where I'd be taking profit. I told you why. You're starting to see it start to play out here. Someone got wrecked down there, that's for sure. Into these imbalances here again. This is where the sellers have tried a couple times here again. Come on, Bookmap, why are you stopping? There we go. Alex, what time frame are you on? 1 minute. You can kind of work it out, can't you, by watching the tape for 1 minute? Nice, Nathan. Nice work. Why not simply buy pullbacks? Would have worked every time the last month. Well, we did. That's what we did this morning, mate. Didn't we? It's literally what we did. We were long this morning. All right. But I'm not long up here. I'm also not short up here. I told you where I'd expect the market to go to, but I also said I'm not short. Why don't you turn up earlier? People do, yeah. I mean, people jump in there for 5 seconds and think they know everything without having watched the stream. Where did we buy the pullback from earlier? Oh yeah, the higher time frame pullback that we bought. Where are we not going to be a buyer? Oh yeah, supply up here. Where did we expect the market to come back to from here? Oh yeah, here. Where's the chop? Oh yeah, in here. All right. Come on. It's not like we haven't talked about it. If you've come in here for 5 seconds and think you know it all, please put the ego in check. Do I use Ninja Trader for Lucid, Alex? Yes, I use it for everything. I don't trade on anything other than Ninja. It's the only thing I use. Can we talk about the wicks? Well, they're not that big. They might look big, but really they're what? On an M1, 10 points. We're just traversing now between this and this. All right, this was the same level as earlier. So they've trapped shorts here. These shorts that were here, right, bid back up. They got out break even. The buyers that were up there probably got out break even as well. And now we're stuck here for a bit by the looks of it. I'm getting the course next month. Wins in here. Nice. Izzy, good work, man. Nice, 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 nice. Green Day, thank you, Alex. You're welcome. You're welcome. How long we got left here? 10 minutes left. Quitting whilst ahead, Thomas. That's good trading as well, my friend. Understanding that you're up nice. Maybe you've made your target, or maybe you don't like what you're seeing now while this market figures out what's next. Again, I would like this market to come in down here. It's not because I'm looking for the short. It's an area of interest for me if we come in down there. That's not to say there isn't a short down to there. There probably is a short down to there at some point. But like I've said, counter trends are the hardest moves in the books to play. They can pay very, very quickly, but they are one of the hardest moves to pay. right, back into this imbalance where we just broke out from. So we're coming back into these sort of 50 levels, right? Remember, the sellers are stuck right now at 30 to 25. This is where the sellers are stuck, here. All right? These guys, we've talked about them. These guys, well, this grey box is here. Look at the delta. This is where the seller is caught, 25. Look at this huge bid when we came in. All right? So we would need to move under this for sellers to be comfortable. And even then, we will probably only check the 500 level, which we know is where the big breakout took place. All right? So there's no real thought until I'm kind of waiting to see if we can come down to 500 before I even consider anything else in the market right now. And people will say, oh, we need to make more money. No. No. I challenge you. If we've had the low-hanging fruits, if we had the nice move, we need to let it build liquidity. Just think about what we've done today. If we draw this out, right, today we did pre-market, all the way back. We are here, right? That's basically where we are right now. And there's like maybe a node here. We're doing this. How do you get a trap buyer or seller indicator? It's footprint and order flow, mate. It's not really an indicator as such. So the top of this imbalance, they're trying to hold this imbalance right here. Remember the big bid came in down here at 30s. They're trying to hold this imbalance here, this little low volume node. I think this market just needs to sort of build out for a while. Well, remember, we're very close to lunch now as well. We've had... I want to go over something as well, like understanding. All right, we've had some really nice trades today. All right, we traded the big RBS zone, which was part of our plan pre-market. We traded this long, all right? We traded this 500, 480, 500 rotation short. There's 2 for 2. Some of you might trade that long. I didn't. I tried to trade this short twice, all right? So I took one loss there, small loss, and one break even. And then we traded this long from here, all right? We've had 1, 2, maybe some of you are still holding that, 3 great trades, right? As we become... right, as we get into these kind of ranges up here, we start to lose the edge, right, to be a buyer, even though the move has been upside. Think about the location. What's the location up here? Okay, it's near all-time highs. Okay, what else? It's near supply. This is where buyers, imagine you're a buyer here, here, or here overnight, right? You're stuck. That's why it's important, right? So your location, right, is poor. Your momentum, so if your location and your momentum, wing, right, is good. Not great, right? Whereas down here this morning, the guy said, why don't you buy pullbacks? Well, that's what we did down here. This is the pullback. So what's here? Location, ding. Once momentum shifted, ding. Okay, great. Location here for the short, ding. Momentum once it shifted, ding. All right, for the short back down. We need both things in alignment, right, to be confident about taking a trade. At these prices, I'm less interested in the market. Tyson, that's amazing. I don't mean to laugh, mate, but that's comment of the day for Tyson. He said the trap trader indicator should just show my positions. You like the sound effects? Yeah. How would you short the highs? Well, again, you need, just like we talked about here, okay, the only time we've talked about shorts today, and I've said that I'm not taking it, but the only time we've talked about it is when what happens? When volume has been trapped. So here's a prime example. The main trend, you have to understand, okay, let's just talk about, I know this is lower time frame, but let's talk about like a 5 or 15 minute trend. Okay, if this is the main trend, okay, what do we expect after we make a new high? We expect the pullback to come, yeah? And if it's trend continuation, then we expect a new high and then a pullback to come, because the trend moves like this, right? So if this is our higher time frame trend, this is your lower time frame short opportunity, which is a higher time frame pullback. So that makes sense? We talk about this all the time. So a pro trend, I'm going to draw it out, right? Higher time frame, right? This could be your daily, your H1, your M15, it doesn't matter. If the higher time frame is doing this, okay, then the easy money is the lower time frame long, lower time frame long, lower time frame long. That's the easy money. What would that look like? Let's pretend this was our long this morning because we came back into an RBS. That would look like this, wouldn't it? The pullback finishes and then we go long here, right? That's the lower time frame. That's the easier trade. The harder trade, I need that back. Right, the harder trade is this part of the higher time frame leg. Okay, because if this was your H1, right, an M5 of that would look like this. Right, and we would be trying to capture these parts of the move. Much, much harder. It's possible to do it. So what would we need? Okay, this is what we'd need. So again, here's the higher time frame. Right, and on a lower time frame, let's say we're going to magnify this part. Okay, it would look like this. Right, if we're going to do a volume profile, it would look like this. Yeah, the only chance to short that is when volume up there is trapped, and ideally buyers. All right, and they start stopping out to where? To the next high volume node, which is what? It's the pullback leg. So let's say this is a high volume node, this pullbacks to here. Does that make sense? So if we put that into context of what we've just seen, right, of what we've just seen, where is the volume from pre-market? All right, if we're going to do volume here, it will look like this. Thin, 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 a little bit thicker, thin, 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 thin. All right. So we're into a higher volume node. As we came up here, what do we have here? We created higher volume in here. If we look inside this, we probably see some buyers trapped up there. Well, not enough, but probably see some. All right, up here. So once we break down under them, these buyers are now trapped. So when we wash, where do we wash down to? Think about this volume node. Think about the picture I just did. Where did we just come down to? Top of the volume node, bottom of the volume node. There's your higher time frame pullback. Right? If the main trend is this, there's your higher time frame pullback. That's your short opportunity if you're adamant on trading counter trend down into here. This is why you pay yourself into areas of support. Now, if we break down under that, that's a different story. All right, that becomes a rotational trade at that point. But at the moment, it's a higher time frame pullback, nothing more than. Why are we rejecting here so far? Why? Well, where were buyers caught? Think about this. Even if you're not using volume, where are buyers caught? If you bought the highs up here, where's your stop? It's here, isn't it? All right, and we have a node here. And if we use multi-time frame, what happened here? Oh, look, that's where we broke down from pre-market. Right, so it's a good area of interest for that scalp short. Yeah, we don't guess in this part of it. We don't short here. All right, we let it break down. There's your free lesson. Good? Good? Free lesson? Makes sense? Stop you guys picking tops? Do I teach all this in my course? Yes, in a lot more detail. In a lot more detail. Are lower volume nodes or higher volume nodes more probable in your experience? What do you mean more probable? They're to be traded differently. Right? They're to be traded differently. Right? High volume node, we go sideways. Break out of it, low volume node. Remember, low volume node means there's no acceptance. Right? So in here, we have no acceptance. We trade through it quick. If we lose this, we probably trade through it quick because price can't find acceptance here. It doesn't like this price. So above it, we're holding bullish, right? But if we lose this high volume node, we probably slice through that very quickly. They're not the same thing. What makes my course stand out from all the free content? I mean, I teach a lot here for free, but it's 20 hours, mate, of like slowly building your brain to understand what you're looking at and why you're looking at it. So it starts from nothing all the way up to like my playbook and Confluence and putting everything together. K's and Trades, thanks for that, mate. Appreciate it. Rock off, I'm out. 4 or 5 plus 700 on the day. You're the GOAT. See you tomorrow. Take care, mate. Good work today. Has Trump spoken yet? I don't know. He spoke this morning. Is he due to speak again? To have all the indicators I use, is there a lifetime option? Well, a version of this comes with the course for free. Not this exact one, but a version of it. Otherwise, I think if you add it to the course, it's like $200 or $300 for life. This comes for free in Discord. A lot of stuff is for free in Discord. This you have to pay for. This is nothing to do with me. All right, the options levels are nothing to do with me. I use a third-party provider for that called Tanuki. There's lots of other options that you can use. You can use Tide. There's ton. Unusual whales, menthol Q. There's tons if you're looking for that. Alex, do you prefer copy trading multiple accounts? Yes, when we're in nice higher time frame alignment, yes. No, when I don't feel good about the trade, when it's like not as much edge. Problem with trading multiple accounts together, I can tell you some of the issues. If you're using an ATM or bracket orders and you're trading too many accounts together, you will get a lag, and this is where you will blow up or not realize. So let's say, for example, I was short here with 30 accounts, yeah, with a limit sell, and let's say this one here, right, filled out the 30 accounts, it filled 20 accounts, but for some reason it didn't fill the last 10, and I have a bracket order, let's say here, to cover, right, which means 20 of my accounts made money, but because it's a bracket order, right, it might mean 10 of the accounts buy price there. Now, if price slides there, I don't realize that I've just suddenly become a buyer and telling my accounts there, and then I don't understand why I've lost money. Bracket orders when you're trading can be very, very risky when you're using limits. All right, that's the one thing I'd say, which is the downside. One thing I'd say. The funded account I use, the main accounts I use are Lucid. That's the one that I keep showing at the moment, where I'm up $11,275 on in this day 12. But I've been up there for, I don't know, 6 days. Lucid, Take Profit Trader, Apex. Those are the ones I'm trading actively at the moment. Tradeify, FZT&x, My Funded Futures. Those are the firms which pay out the best. Lucid's probably my favorite one with Take Profit Trader at the moment. Those are probably the two I really, really, really like. All right, Take Profit Trader, daily payouts. Lucid payouts every 5 days. No consistency rule on those, which is why they're great. Yes, My Funded Futures, exactly. But code FZT, if you want to support the stream, the way I'm able to do this for free, code FZT gets you the best price on all of those. Other than Take Profit, you need to use code FlowZone over there. All right, other than Take Profit, use code FlowZone. TPT and Lucid are the bomb. Yeah, I agree. Like Lucid Flex account for me is fantastic. Fantastic. How long do we look back on the pre-market for those levels? Would you like? Well, we're trading futures, right? So all of it. So you're looking at previous day levels, overnight levels, current week levels, previous week levels. All historical data matters. If you make 5K, you can only cash out 2K. How does that work? That's just the rules. It's pretty standard with most prop firms, mate. 2K every 5 days. And then you, after your 5th payout, you transfer a maximum on each 50K account of 8 grand into a live account. How come you left the UK? Because my wife took a job in Los Angeles, so we were ready for a move, so we'd made the move. How much do I make off that 11K? Well, I've taken $4,000 out of it so far, and I will have 5, as long as I don't do something stupid, I'll have 5 payouts of it. So I'll make $10,000 out of it. So I'll turn $98 or whatever it cost me into $10,000 cash. And then I will have $8,000 moved into a live account. So potentially $18,000 I will make from $98 original fee. And who knows what I can turn if we get to that live account. Who knows what I can turn that 11,000 in. And remember, that's just one TPT account. I need to get some more TPT accounts going. Been a bit lazy recently. Yeah, you can copy trade. Yeah, Peter. If you have a pro account, you lose it when they transfer you live. Are you talking about Lucid? Well, they transfer, like I said, they transfer a maximum of $8,000 over. There's a reason I'm keeping my buffer where it is, where I'm not trying to push anymore. I've talked about it. There's no point in me having more than $10,000 in my account, basically. You can have a little bit more for red days, but basically, if I have $10,000 in my account and I pull 2 out, it leaves $8,000 to move to live on after the 5th payout. If I had $30,000 there and they only move $8,000 to live, it's completely pointless, isn't it? So it's better for me at the moment to take small base hits, right? 150 a day is all I need. Is it me or most of the people don't even go to live accounts? Lucid, you have to go to live account, I'm pretty sure, after the 5th. I don't think they let you take it all out. I might be wrong, but I don't think so. Lucid Flex, yes, is what I'm trading. Then I can pay 2 months rent in LA. Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly where I'm leaving. While I'm short on my test account, I placed an order in my pro account. We'll take profit trader, liquidate both. What's a test account? An eval? I don't know if that would be considered a hedge if one's an eval. I don't think so. Going to buy a course, would I say need to add the bonus to help me more? Which bonus? The indicator or the volume and order flow? I'd say the volume and order flow course is probably, with the 20-hour course, probably more important. You can always add the indicators later, but you get a version of the indicators for free in the course. Why did I choose Lucid Flex over Lucid Pro? Because there's no consistency rule. I'm really liking accounts with no consistency rule in a market that has a range this big. What are the indicators I'm using right now? Okay. Flowzone Pro, right? Available on the website. Version of it comes for free with the course. A more simplified version of it. VWAP, all right? It's very simple. New York VWAP, 24-hour VWAP, and GEX. Right, Tanuki GEX levels. That's it. Dean, I don't know. It's personal preference. I mean, I'm sure 25K accounts probably even easier to pass. Those legacy accounts, the new accounts post-February don't get moved. In Lucid, really? So what happens? You get the payout. You guys, here's the break. So they're trying to get up to all-time highs now. 600 first and then all-time highs. No, you can't pass flex count in one day. You need at least 2 days in it. Of my own system, I've used your lives to develop volume delta and some other steps to replace trap players and not become liquidity in all my account. Trading 0 TTE, props next. Nice, Peter, good work. Where can you get your cool footprint chart that shows trap peeps? It's not finished yet. This is a new indicator I'm working on. with a peer in Discord. It's almost there. Well, it is there, to be honest. We just need to. I need to get on the phone with Ninja Trader and get them to approve it. What does consistency rule mean in Lucid Flex 50k evals? It means that you can't make more than 50% of your target in one day. So you want to do 1,500 max a day. Max a day. Yes, if I move to Austin, I can wake up later, exactly. Or I can wake up at the same time and go to the gym. Alex, I want to thank you for teaching me order flow and mainly risk management. You're welcome. Do we need 2 winning days after profit target? What? Like I just said, if you're doing about Lucid, you can pass it in a max of 2 days. 1 winning day should not be more than $1,500. If it is, if you make $1,800 in one day, you're going to have to make at least another $1,800, right? Your consistency shows 140% after only making 1,250 though. Oh, I don't know what to tell you. You better get in touch with them. Where's the exit for the long? I'd say whole number, 600s, and then all-time highs, right? 635s. Whole number, 600s, and then 635s. I'm going to kick myself for not holding these longs. We literally had the best buy of the day down here this morning, but there we go. If we take out the highs, it'll be 300 points later, and I will laugh. I will laugh at myself. Yeah, pre-market highs, basically. That's your all-time highs. If we take that out, we're not going to do it today. Well, maybe. Never say never. A fib extension, right, will be 780, basically 800. If we find a bid over all-time highs, your pre-market all-time highs, then I'd say 28,800. Let me see if there's any further out expiries out there for you. Give me a second. How are we doing for time? I need to get off here in a minute. Yeah, so levels developing right now in options are 28,007, 28,685. Yeah, 28,605, 28,006. God, talk properly. 28,605, 28,685, 28,895. Let me look for May 7th. 605, 645, 685, 895. And today, is there any being priced in above? 645, 685, 730. I think that's your max, unless they go absolutely bonkers today. There's nothing for 0 to... I mean, they can price some more in after lunch, but at the moment, 645, 685, 730. And for tomorrow, 685, 895. So there you go. Those are what they're pricing in. Alex, if you could choose the times that were good, would you say New York session? Yeah, I would. New York session is the best session. Everyone gets so like, because we have like a small period of time where suddenly like overnight moves, everyone's like, oh, I'm going to stay up all night and only do it. That's just fucking hell. Markets move in cycles. Where's most of the volume? New York. Where do you want to trade? New York. Where does the news come out? New York. Okay, we trade New York, right? We're not robots. We can't be up 24/7. So New York's still the best time to trade. I don't trade with alpha futures, so I can't comment. The only ones I trade with are on the screen rolling underneath or in the description. There's no one else I trade with, guys. All right, I'm out of here, folks. That's it for me today. I don't know if we'll get another trade here. That might be it. It's a few buyers getting caught up at these highs, but that might be it. ES is trying to get going as well. I think we've had the nice moves. Will there be any more trades today? I'm sure there will be, but again, like, we're rotating this next box now. We don't know what's left to come. Buyers are going to try and protect 82s. If they don't protect 82s, then they're going to fail probably to try and get up to those highs again. Like we just said, those 600s come in. Here's the move back down to 82. So we just, like, remember, you're in lunch. You're going to have to just let it build out. And, you know, we've got news swirling. There's lots of stuff moving around. Like, things can change fairly quickly here. But, like, overall, we're very bullish. Overall, we held that pullback again today. This is all going to be about positioning now. You don't want to be a hot buyer up at these all-time highs, all right? You just don't. So you're going to need a decent pullback to really want to bid off. Otherwise, you're going to need, if you're going to rebid at the highs, you're going to need a breakout of the highs and a hold of the highs. But we are where we are. We just have to see what we get now. Yeah, just nice and easy, folks. Nice and easy. One day at a time. Remember, we've had like really, really good moves today. Really, really good moves today. And I'll see everyone else in Discord. Remember, use hard stops. You'll be very upset if you're not using hard stops in this market. This market will take your money away from you very quickly on news. So you have to use hard stops. See you tomorrow morning. We go again. Same thing. Thursday tomorrow, right? Thursday tomorrow. Hump day today. Thursday tomorrow. We go again. Peace and love, everyone. And I'll see you in the morning. 9:15. Don't be late. You'll want to be here to understand what I'm looking at.